Today's the deadline set by the deal that President Trump signed at Versailles in June for ending the war with Iran and reaching an accord on its nuke program. President Trump, in a social media post, ordered reduced U.S. participation in joint U.S.-South Korean military exercises that just started. Trump wants to reinforce his relationship with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, says ABC News military and diplomatic contributor Steve Ganyard.
Everything that the Iranians have been doing in terms of hardened underground, they learned from the North Koreans. All their missile technology. So all those missiles that are killing American troops, hitting civilian areas in the Gulf countries, in Jordan and Israel, that is North Korean technology.
Two U.S. officials tell ABC News that nothing has changed so far with the joint war games with South Korea. House Democrats demanding answers from the Trump administration about mineral agreements amid reports that the Trump family and cabinet members could profit from them. This is ABC News. A Trump-appointed national bank regulator has granted a wing of the Trump family's crypto business conditional approval to establish a bank charter, opening the door for larger clients and potentially higher profits. The decision marks the first time in U.S. history that a company owned by the sitting president's family has been granted bank status. ABC's Jay O'Brien.
Started in the months before Trump returned to the White House, World Liberty used to list the president, his sons, his Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff, and Witkoff's sons on its website. The page appears to have since been removed. The firm's deals, including in the Middle East, have helped Trump's personal gains from crypto balloon, earning upwards of $1.4 billion from his family crypto businesses alone last year, according to his financial disclosures.
Dozens of House Democrats demanding answers from the Trump administration about critical mineral agreements amid reports that the Trump family and members of his cabinet could profit from those deals. Chuck Sievertson, ABC News.
Flock cameras are taking center stage in Seattle and Renton today. More on that straight ahead. First, a check on your traffic. Brought to you by Subaru of Puyallup. Here in Seattle, eastbound 90, right inside the Mount Baker Tunnel, a collision takes up the right lane. South 5, we're slow from Northgate to the Convention Center, where we recently cleared a crash. It gets real thick about Ravenna. Linwood to Seattle has about a 10-minute delay. North 5, scattered backups from the West Seattle Bridge to the Ship Canal Bridge. Through Algona, we've got a collision on the West Valley Highway just before Ellingson Road. It's fully blocking both directions. And as you head into Olympia, South 5 gets crowded near Pacific in Lacey down to Highway 101. During the Subaru A Lot to Love event through August 31st, enjoy great financing on select new cars at Subaru Puyallup. Visit SubaruofPuyallup.com, your stress-free dealership.
KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Good afternoon, I'm Nate Connors. A flock fight is playing out in Seattle and Renton today. The story from KIRO News Radio's Tim Hole.
Opponents want the controversial surveillance cameras gone.
They need to be fully disabled, taken down.
Kathleen Carson with Seattle Indivisible tells KIRO 7 simply covering the cameras, as Renton has done, is not enough. In Seattle, members of the Community Not Cameras Coalition are touring the police department's real-time crime center and gathering at City Hall. A Renton rally starts at 5 this afternoon. Flock has tightened safeguards, including shorter data storage and lockouts for suspicious searches. CEO Garrett Langley says illegal use will be detected.
You will get caught, plain and simple. If you try to use this tool illegally, you will get caught.
Law enforcement agencies, meantime, say the cameras are a valuable tool for finding suspects and solving crimes. Tim Hole, KIRO News Radio.
A hunger strike is underway at Tacoma's Northwest Ice Processing Center, with activists saying about 140 detainees are refusing food to protest conditions. KIRO 7 TV's Jack Bilyeu reports.
U.S. Representatives Emily Randall of Washington and Maxine Dexter of Oregon toured the facility to find out more. They say they were allowed to see the kitchen, but not the medical bay. They reportedly spoke to a detainee who's part of the hunger strike, but were shown paperwork that no detainees in a different housing block refused meals.
They misled us about who is on a hunger strike and what the status of that was.
Yeah. I mean, it makes it very hard to parse what is actually happening in these facilities when we are hearing separate accounts.
They said over 1,400 people are currently detained. Washington State Patrol has issued an endangered missing person alert for 7-month-old Marcelo Martinez and 37-year-old Raul Martinez in the Vancouver area. Authorities say Marcelo was taken Sunday morning between 5 and 6. They may be traveling in a late 90s red Jeep Grand Cherokee with an unknown plate. Their photos are on mynorthwest.com. If you see them or the vehicle, call 911 immediately. Amazon customers now face new limits on how they can take legal action against the company. Amazon has reinstated binding arbitration and says most disputes must be handled individually rather than through class action lawsuits. The company says arbitration is faster and more cost-effective. The change reverses a policy Amazon adopted 5 years ago after tens of thousands of individual arbitration claims became costly for the company. And now your KIRO News Radio weather. Cloudy mornings, otherwise mostly sunny days through the week with highs hovering in the mid to upper 70s, 79 this afternoon. Mostly sunny, a little smoky haze out there, and 65 in downtown Seattle. I'm Nate Connors, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
And now, it's time for the Jake and Spike Show on KIRO News Radio with your hosts, Jake Skorheim and Spike O'Neill.
Behold, a fiendish masterpiece from the bowels of hell! Mondays, boy, I hate Mondays. They make me so steamed. Weekends, I prefer the weekends. Son of a
All right. Welcome, everybody, to the Jake and Spike Show. I'm Spike O'Neill. Jake Skorheim's taking a day to be with family today. I'm jealous. He's got such a lovely family. All that noise, all the dirty laundry, 4 boys. I can imagine the hellscape that is the laundry room of the Skorheim. Anyway, I digress. That Monday song, Laura, welcome, Laura Scott. Laura and I are going to do the show for you today.
Woo.
It appears that Monday song seems to come up like every week. It's like, I don't know, we get a disproportionate amount of Mondays, I think.
It just keeps happening.
I know, right? Didn't we just have a Monday last week? It doesn't seem fair.
I'm exhausted.
Why is one every 7 days a Monday?
What does he say at the end of that song that's bleeped out?
Son of a beeswaxer. I was the son of a beeswaxer as a younger man. Welcome to the show, everybody. We've got a lot planned for you today. We will, of course, have for you our question of the day. We'll tell you a story about a local event, local news that's happening, and how it impacts you, and ask you your input on it for the question of the day. We will also have for you the rundown at 1 o'clock of the top stories nationally and internationally, oftentimes based here at home. We'll love your feedback on those and the question of the day. Lots of stuff to get to. But as was mentioned in the newscast, we're talking about flock cameras first and foremost out of the gate, and the surveillance state that I think we seem to be creeping toward, a la 1984. Flock camera rallies today, pro and con. I think there's some pro speakers down there. I'm sure there will be. But these are con. These are against flock cameras. There's a rally in Seattle at 12:30. Our own James Lynch will be down on the scene talking to protesters who are encouraged to bring signs and bring their outside voices. Also, there's a 5 o'clock rally in Renton against the use of flock cameras in our city. Over 1,000 cities, coast to coast, employ flock cameras. These were initially designed to record license plates. They're license plate technology-based cameras. They're not real-time surveillance cameras, if I understand the process correctly. The problem is that these resources for law enforcement are often manipulated for purposes outside their intent. We heard a clip during the newscast with Nate Connors, the president of Flock, saying that they are not used to, for oftentimes there have been cases, there's evidence of cases, officers using resources available through flock cameras to stalk former girlfriends, ex-wives, things like that. It's also been reported in numerous cities that flock cameras gather information that is then used by local law enforcement communities for purposes of tracking protesters. And that information is shared with federal officials, often used through facial recognition software for federal immigration purposes. This is the downside of these cameras. We've spoken numerous times on this show about the value of cameras in general as a law enforcement and crime-solving resource. Proponents of flock cameras will tell you right off the bat they don't prevent crimes. They're used as evidence gathering. Oftentimes, cameras are the only evidence in a shooting. Look back to the Seattle Center by the Seattle shooting. No flock cameras were available. There was a shooting outside a club in Pioneer Square this weekend. I believe Sunday night around last call. Multiple people were shot. One person shot in the back. Multiple casings recovered. One handgun recovered. There are no witnesses to the altercation. There are no arrests made, obviously, and that camera was recently turned off by the city of Seattle. City of Seattle employs a closed-circuit camera system. They don't use flock cameras the way other cities do. Flock cameras aren't in use in the city of Seattle. There's very few cities in Seattle where the cameras are actually put into service currently. The list of cities that don't use flock cameras, much longer than the list of cities that do. List of cities that don't: Linwood, Tacoma, Olympia, Renton, Edmonds, Redmond, Mount Vernon, Montlake Terrace, Olympia, Pierce County, Tacoma, Everett, and Seattle do not use flock cameras. SeaTac does, Covington does, Normandy Park does, Auburn does. Renton did until recently when that city council voted to remove these flock cameras. In fact, there was a story last week of garbage bags being placed over these flock cameras while the city council votes on whether to have them permanently removed, or they were voted not to renew the contract with the Flock company. Now, Flock is a nationwide company that employs these cameras city to city, and they use them for traffic purposes, also to record. They're specifically license plate cameras. They're used to track stolen vehicles or vehicles that are being sought in crime investigations. And so now we're looking at, are the cameras worth the benefit to law enforcement with weighed against their intrusion into our personal privacy, our right to privacy, our right to gather peacefully and protest. As I mentioned earlier, these flock cameras have been used by numerous law enforcement organizations around the country to then convey information about protesters using AI software technology to give protester databases to federal agencies. And that's just, that I'm not cool with. And, we ask this question: is the benefit weighed against the loss of privacy? What's the decision that's best for the city? So the problem boils down to me, not so much that we have this information or that we have this gathering tool for law enforcement. We're all for law enforcement having all the resources that they need that could possibly be given to them to help keep our city safer. Now, but the problem is this information is being bastardized. It's being used by federal agencies that are going around the laws on books. Washington passed in the last legislative session SB 6002. That was and put into place in the spring of this year. It's a state law that governs guidelines and regulations on how flock cameras can be used and how information can be stored. Problem is that various law enforcement communities are going outside the bounds of the law, and they're sharing this information with people who shouldn't have it for purposes of which it was not intended. We will have James Lynch at the rally in Seattle, the anti-flock rally, which gets underway in about 15, 20, 30 minutes from now. There's also going to be a rally, I guess I mentioned, in Renton today. If you're against the surveillance state creepage, if you're against the misuse of information by state agencies with state regulations and state laws, state guidelines, or federal guidelines that ignore and supersede local law, go down there and protest today. Go down there and protest this evening in Renton. Seattle today at 12:30 at City Hall. Renton at 5 o'clock this afternoon. We'd love to hear from you. If you've got a thought on whether or not cameras are a benefit or an overall detriment, the way they're being misused, we'd love to hear from you. Always welcome your input to the show. So Muckleshoot Casino Resort text line, we welcome hearing from you. Again, James Lynch will be down at the site today. We'll have a touch base with him later on during the show. We'll have him on during our newscast as well. We'll ask James to kind of chirp in with us. There's another issue I'd like to get to today, Laura, which is the food vendors, public food vendors outside our stadiums and throughout our communities. We did a story about a year ago, I want to say, where we had the president of the Seattle Food Truck Association come into our studio with the owner of several food trucks. Two individuals came in because this proliferation of illegal food vendors is everywhere in our city. There was a story in April, I believe, right around the start of baseball season, how King County Health was going to crack down on the illegal street vendors that sit up outside the stadiums for Mariner games and Seahawk games, whether it's Sounders games. Oftentimes you'll find them up at Climate Pledge for Storm games or other different events. These are folks that are not licensed, do not have permits, do not follow King County health and safety guidelines for food preparation, food storage, food handling. And the city back in April said they were going to crack down on these facilities, and they were going to get out there and confiscate these folks, write them tickets for operating without a license.
And April, if you'll remember, was World Cup prep.
World Cup prep,
It was
right,
lots of people are coming to town,
Right.
a lot of international visitors. We're going to make sure that the vendors that people run into are licensed and inspected and have all the safety protocols that you would need to trust eating a bacon wrapped hot dog from them.
because nothing tastes as tasty as a hot dog out of a backpack warmed up on a hot plate outside of a stadium.
And
before
listen,
you make your
sometimes
way
it
in.
does, but it's Russian roulette.
It is Russian roulette. Now, oftentimes these carts are placed for convenience. They're mobile, so they set up right next to long lines of people who are waiting to get into these venues. Sometimes the games can be, they're always very popular, and there's a 15, 20, 30, 40-minute line to get into the stadium, especially if you want to get in early for a special night, like the recent 50th anniversary celebration of the Mariners, or a ticket, or a concert, I should say. You want to get in to see batting practice, get in there early, get the vibe of the ballpark. So these carts are able to set up. And when World Cup was coming to town, you're right, they cracked down on these vendors. They promised to crack down on these vendors. And I believe that you saw less of them during World Cup than you see from a typical Mariner or a Seahawk game, because he had resources coming into town in addition to local law enforcement, in addition to local health care or health department enforcement, that made it easier to get out and get after these folks. But now that those federal resources have gone, this last weekend, there were no less than 30, 40 vendors set up in the stadium district for what was the lone Seahawk preseason game of the year. They were everywhere because the city, while they understand the danger of unpermitted food vendors from a health and safety perspective, they don't have the resources to be down there every single day chasing these folks out of the zone. There was a recent story up in my neck of the woods shoreline. There's often been, I've talked about this before, there's a food stand, not even a cart, a food stand set up pretty much every weekend evening. And it runs from about dinner time, and it runs through oftentimes after last call. These folks stay open very, very late because that's when people who have had a few and are making poor food decisions are going to buy food from a street-side food vendor. These shops been set up for months and months and months, pretty much every weekend in Monday. And there's not just the shoreline. As you go up and down Aurora Avenue, you'll see various pop-ups, I guess is the best way to describe these food vendor tents. They're the kind of tent you put up in your backyard, when you're having a barbecue. You put them up, take them down inside of 5 minutes. But they also set up tables, and they set up heating stations and propane tanks and cooking stations. I've seen rotisserie, like a beef station, like a KIRO shop would have, where they carve beef off and serve it. The problem is these places are never licensed. They're never permitted. They never have safety protocols in place. The one in my neighborhood up in Shoreline, 185th and Aurora, sets up in the parking lot of a strip mall that's there. And they were shut down this week by King County Health Department. Came up, I believe it was Thursday evening, and shut them up. And I'm assuming wrote them tickets. And they may have even confiscated equipment, because I thought that was one of the promised protocol enhancements or expansions back in April, was that they're going to start increasing the fines against these folks, make it less of an attractive business proposition to set up dirty on the streets like that. Problem is, this vendor was back the next night, the very next night. That same type of situation, that same type of pop-up vendor was set up literally on one of the four corners of the intersection of 185th and Aurora. They're usually set up on the southeast corner, next to the new thrift store that used to be the old Bartels that closed up and went out of town. But then the following evening, they're set up across the street in a vacant lot next to a bus station on the southwest corner of the intersection. When we had the story last year, and the food truck organization president and food truck owner came in.
Misa Villa.
Thank you very much. They talked about doing their own research, because they've been asking King County, they've been asking the city of Seattle, through law enforcement, through health code enforcement, health department enforcement, to crack down on these illegal vendors. They talked to us about they'd done their own investigation. They'd followed these trucks back at the end of the day to a warehouse, and I believe the Renton area, that had a series of a dozen you've seen these white panel trucks. They're always next to these pop-up food vendors. These white panel trucks were operating out of one warehouse facility that was full of food prep and food storage, none of which was properly refrigerated or properly cooked. The various conditions of food service and food storage that require, below 41 degrees for storage, above 180 degrees for service, for cooking, service, all these different regulations.
They described it as like a house of horrors, a warehouse of horrors. It's just like no
oversight, no regulation,
Exactly.
no safety features at all. And these trucks come out and they service communities up and down the I-5 corridor from Pierce County all the way up through King and Snohomish County. And it was an organized group from California that were coming up here, knew that the restrictions were and enforcement was so light and so erratic that they could just set up shop and pop up. And when they get shut down, they pop up somewhere else across the street, and sometimes the very next day. The president of the food truck organization was actually assaulted trying to video this so he could have evidence to present to law enforcement. There's an illegal, probably gang-driven, financed organization based out of California that came up here to our soft target environment and had these illegal food trucks. The King County health organizations and law enforcement promise us that they're going to crack down on this, because it's not just about our public safety as consumers eating food that we can trust. It's also about the businesses who go about the business the right way, who get health permits and business licenses.
And pay for all of those things.
Pay exuberant fees for all these. Had a story 2 weeks ago about how much it costs to set up a tent at the Bite of Seattle, for example. It was almost $7,000 between rentals, for permitting, for participation, for health code, for fire safety, all these different factors, what it costs to put a tent up at the Bite of Seattle for 3 days. When you're a food vendor that operates outside one of the stadium district, there's a story from, I believe the story was from, I don't want to misquote them, I want to say King 5. Yeah, it was King 5. Interviewed a local pop-up hot dog shop owner that operates legally with licensing, with permitting outside the stadiums. I've seen a 75% drop-off in their business in the last couple of years with the proliferation of these illegal stands. They used to sell, 500 to 600 dogs on a good game day prior to the game. But now that there are 30 different illegal options for folks, maybe there's, 3 dozen vendors that are licensed at the most. So maybe an equal number or illegal or more are illegal. They're out there competing for the retail dollar, people going into the stadiums. This business owner lost 75% of her business, went from 500 to 600 to 100 to 200 dogs on a good day. And then these are the folks that are actually paying the freight to actually do it legally. And I'm just wondering what's it going to take for the city to actually step up to use, whether it's King County health regulations are the ones that are governing this. Their inspectors close their shop at 5 p.m. every day. They don't have the budget to work overtime or send out extra patrols into the streets, even though we know where the criminals are going to be. Look at the Mariners schedule. Look at the game time. These carts wait till the 5 o'clock hour hits and King County closes down the health inspector wing, and then they go set up their shop on the street.
And it doesn't hurt that they're mobile, right? Like they can jump between counties, they can cross the street, they can find new locations. Like you have to have an incredible amount of resources as a health department to really chase people around when their business is on wheels.
On wheels, yeah. And I get it, folks. We all want to, maybe they're a tad cheaper. They're a little bit more convenient because they're next to you in the line. You're waiting in to get into your venue. But, they're breaking the law. And as people who support these illegal vendors, and like I said, there are dozens of them at every event, at every game. And they're up and down Aurora Avenue. Like I said, my local neighborhood was busted this week, and they were back the next day, set up same shop right across the street. So if the business owners who cry out for help from from King County Health Department and from Seattle Police Department, they're not getting any aid in stopping these illegal businesses from being set up. What's it going to take? Here's a question of the day for you. And we always appreciate your input at the Muckleshoot Casino Resort text line, 888-973-5476. Do you shop at these? Do you buy a dog on your way into the ballpark? Have you bought a dog from an unlicensed vendor? Have you stopped at one of these pop-up stands that are all over the city, not just in Monica the Woods, but they're all over the city? You know the ones I'm talking about. There's a white tent set up or blue tent set up. It's a long table out front. They're cooking food. They're serving food. They're operating out of the back of a car or a van parked next to them. They've got coolers. They don't have proper refrigeration. They don't have licensing. They don't have permitting. Is it worth it? Is the food good? Have you ever gotten sick? Do you risk your health for a convenient, affordable snack or mealtime at lunchtime near your job site? Do they set up near your job site? We'd love to hear from you. Is it worth the risk? Do you feel bad about what you're doing to the business in Seattle?
What a loaded question.
I mean, shouldn't you feel bad?
Yeah.
Do you not care? Love to hear from you. All right, when we come back, we'll talk about more food talk, because I like food talk on a Monday. Maybe I haven't because I skipped lunch. I usually eat lunch. There's a national chain that's announced they're closing down a couple hundred locations, including local locations, and there seems to be a wave of that. It's hard for, speaking of food vendors, it's hard for licensed national food chains to keep up during this economy, and they're going out of business in record number. I'll tell you who's announced that they're closing their doors, as well as the local pop-up I want to tell you about that I'm really looking forward to eating at, because I know they're licensed. I know they're permitted. I know they're safe. It's the Jake and Spike Show. Right back after these.
This hour is brought to you by Sunset Auto Family.
I've lived here almost my entire life.
Seattle's morning news host, Charlie Harger.
I love Seattle. I love that I'm able to raise my children here.
Hear Charlie's 7:35 commentary every morning on Seattle's morning news.
So when I see something that I think might need some attention, that's me pointing out areas of improvement. That is not me saying that Seattle is somehow bad.
You can watch all of Charlie's commentaries anytime on the KIRO Newsradio YouTube channel.
Are you looking to buy a house, but like everyone, you're priced out of the Bellevue, Kirkland, and Seattle market? Many buyers have the income, the credit, and the desire to own, but simply don't have the down payment, often at least $75,000 just for a starter home. Hi, I'm Scott Rireka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue, with a great opportunity for home buyers. Introducing our Legacy Opportunity Loan. Legacy Group Capital has a select group of 100 new construction, single-family, and townhomes in the top Western Washington locations. Acquire a new construction home with no down payment, allowable closing costs paid, and a competitive rate. Yes, that's no down payment and some closing costs paid by Legacy. A wise man once said, the hardest part of winning in real estate is just getting in. And now you can with our Legacy Opportunity Loan. So get in the game.
Limited properties available to qualified Washington borrowers. Learn more about this limited opportunity at LegacyG.com. Legacy Group Capital, LLC, and MLS ID 99045. Visit LegacyG.com for additional program details.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-292-4541 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-292-4541. That's 800-292-4541. What do you have to lose? Call 800-292-4541. Again, 800-292-4541. This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-292-4541 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-292-4541. That's 800-292-4541. What do you have to lose? Call 800-292-4541. Again, 800-292-4541.
Hey, I know something you probably haven't done in a while. Climb into your crawl space or your attic. Yeah, me neither. Mike Salk here. And most homeowners avoid those areas for good reason, but it's important to check on them regularly, especially here in the Northwest, where groundwater can wreak havoc and many homes lack the proper insulation in these spaces. So when it's hot in the summer, your house gets even hotter. And guess what? When it's cold in the winter, your house gets even colder because you don't have enough insulation. The good news, you don't have to crawl into those dingy areas because Crawl Pros will do it. They go go where you don't want to. That's what they did at my house. They found a little rodent intrusion, and they found the insulation problems. So, yeah, they can help you get it all fixed, just like they did with me. And if you need any work done, local utility companies offer rebates that could save you thousands on your project. Don't just assume that your crawl space and attic are in great condition. Do what I did. Call Crawl Pros today. Schedule a free corner-to-corner inspection at crawlpros.com.
It's Jonathan here from DUI Heroes, and I'm here today with a teenager who's just about to get her driver's license, and she's got some questions for me about driving, alcohol, and how to not end up in my office.
If I get pulled over and I have been drinking, can I ask for a parent to come and help me?
Unfortunately, no. What you can do is ask to speak with an attorney. And you know what? I'm a parent, which means if you call my office, you're going to get me or one of my other associates. And most of us are parents. Most of us know exactly what to do and exactly what to say to make sure that you're protected and we can get you home safe as quickly as possible. So the smart thing to do is simply ask the officer to talk to an attorney as soon as you possibly can. You're already in the situation. Give us a call and let's try not to make it worse. That was a great question. And if you or any of your friends find yourselves this summer in contact with law enforcement, please give us a call at 1-800-DUI-HERO or online at DUIHeroes.com.
Guys, your testosterone level impacts your energy, drive, weight, hair loss, and even ED. Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your T level for free. For your free T level check, exam, and consultation, call 206-529-1111 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and MyNorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Nate Connors. Seattle police are describing a barrage of gunfire in Pioneer Square early Sunday. James Lynch has the details.
The shooting happened about 1:30 Sunday morning and is believed to have started inside a nearby bar and spilled onto the street at 1st and King Street. Responding officers found an active fight on the street, and they say more than 30 rounds were fired by multiple shooters, hitting cars and businesses. Here's SPD Sergeant Patrick Mouchot.
We did end up finding a gun in the area from somebody who dropped it or ran off. Suspect information was very limited, and there were no victims found at the scene.
One man later showed up at Harborview with a non-life-threatening gunshot wound. So far, no arrests have been made. James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
A 73-year-old Spokane woman is the first confirmed death tied to the Old Trails fire. The Spokesman Review reports Pat Speedy was a hospice patient at a nursing home, and the facility was evacuated August 1st. Her daughter says Speedy suffered serious medical complications after being wheeled out in her hospital bed during the chaotic evacuation. She died about a week later. The Spokane County Sheriff's Office says it will investigate whether the death could lead to additional charges against arson suspect Aaron Farinacci. Prosecutors say he confessed to starting the fire. A Kent man wanted in connection with a child rape investigation has been arrested for after an automated license plate reader alerted officers to his vehicle. Kent patrol officers received the alert Saturday afternoon and found the suspect's vehicle at his home. Officers announced he was under arrest, and he eventually surrendered. He was taken into custody and will be transported to Grace Harbor County, where detectives are continuing the investigation. A pair of home runs helped the Seattle Mariners grab a critical victory against the Houston Astros. Cal Raleigh and Randy Rosareno both went deep Sunday at their 3-2 win. Raleigh's home run was a welcome sight for fans after he struggled through much of the season. Relief pitcher Sir Anthony Dominguez also came through in the clutch to help seal the win.
Dominguez, the 1-2. Swung on it, missed, got him! A nasty splitter. Dominguez spins in the air. He pumps his fist. He's got the punch out. And that's it for the Astros as Dominguez leaves the bases loaded in the 8th.
Nate?
Yes.
A rose?
A rose.
Areno.
A
Rosarino.
Thank you, Spike.
It's pronounced Randy. Say with me, Randy.
What would I do without you?
You're doing great, brother.
What would I do without him? He struck out Dalton Varsho with the bases loaded in the 8th to escape a huge jam. The Mariners take the day off today before traveling to face the Brewers tomorrow. A quick look at Wall Street, and stocks slipped to near session lows this afternoon. The Dow down 267, S&P 500 down 35, NASDAQ down 75. And now check on traffic brought to you by Seattle Sports. A Linwood to Seattle plan on 35 minutes. We're heading from Northgate to the Convention Center where we have a collision on your right shoulder near the exit to Union. It isn't blocking, but it's a distraction. We've got a couple tow trucks on scene and a lot of flashing lights, so this should be cleared shortly. North 5, typical scattered backups between the West Seattle Bridge and our Revive I-5 project at the Ship Canal. South 405 crowded from South Bellevue to the VMAC. Nothing too heavy yet. Bellevue to South Center, a 20-minute trip. And Tacoma to Olympia, 40 minutes. You've got 3 to 4 miles of backups between Lacey and Olympia. Search Seattle Sports on YouTube and click subscribe to get fresh video content daily. All right, mornings start off cloudy, turning mostly sunny through the week with highs ebbing and flowing between the mid to upper 70s. We'll hit 79 today. 65 with some persistent wildfire smoke up high, otherwise mostly sunny in downtown Seattle. I'm Nate Connors, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Rose Arena. Nate Connors. I love this guy. Welcome back to the Jake and Spike Show. I'm Spike O'Neill. Jake Skorheim's taking a day to be with his family today. So we'll have to tell him when he gets back tomorrow the bad news up in his neck of the woods, north of Seattle, Everett, Washington, losing a bit of a local landmark, one might say. A local treasure, no one might say. I'm kidding. But it's not bad news for 24 employees of the local Jack in the Box in Everett. Announced that they are going to be closing their doors. Effective October 10th of this year. Was, of course, required by the WARN, which is the Worker Adjustment and Retraining Notification System. That's a filing every business has to do when they lay off employees. Jack in the Box announced a year ago that they're going to close down 150 to 200 of their locations nationwide, trying to streamline their business model, trying to eliminate waste, become asset light and simplified in their business model, according to CEO Lance Tucker. That was said back in April, and that was reported to us from Fox 13. So the only local closure we have confirmed so far is the Everett location. And that's up on, what do I say, Everett Mall Way. Yeah, 1505 Southeast Everett Mall Way. A couple different Jack in the Boxes close to my house. There's one up in the Shoreline area. My kid likes Jack in the Box. I'm not a fast food fan anymore. I guess it's a phase in life. It's a luxury you have, and a younger body can process that kind of
There was
food.
a Jack in the Box walking distance from my college apartment. that was the 1 year of Jack in the Box in my life, and then
it's funny.
Then I was done.
Jack in the Box, I remember they started 70s, I want to say late 60s, 70s, but then they really had a resurgence with their marketing campaign of Jack, right? The ball guy, Jack. That was a brilliant marketing campaign, and marketing is everything in fast food. I mean, whether it's the Burger King, they're constantly re-putting the Burger King out into our world with a big plastic head. I think that was chasing Jack in the Box's brilliant marketing of Jack, because it was just genius marketing. But the CEO said they're going to try to simplify and become asset-light business model. That's fancy words for cutting stores and cutting people, because that menu is not simplified at all. We were talking off air a little bit about Jack in the Box.
The Jack in the Box menu is crazy. It's like you can't possibly be doing all this well. They have cheesecake. They have Vietnamese spring rolls. They have burgers and fries.
They have burgers and fries. But you're right. Everything on that menu, there's 1,000 weird different little things at Jack in the Box. And that's unique to Jack in the Box. You can't get like a sourdough, grilled sourdough, whatever it might be, with Swiss on it. The combinations are wonderful. The food's well done. It's well prepared. They do a good job with their food. The cheesecake's not bad. It's not, I'm not New York jelly cheesesteak, or cheesecake, I should say.
But there's not a lot of places that are going to hand you cheesecake through a delivery window.
That's why they're
drive-up window.
2 o'clock is their 1 to 2 hours.
Yeah.
That's their money hour.
Yeah.
Getting the folks that are coming, cheesecake. Yeah, you didn't know you didn't want it. A lot of other chains nationally are finding themselves, it's tough to do business, and they're kind of tightening their belts and closing down locations.
Yeah, it's about a 4 to 6% store closure rate across a bunch of different fast food, which begs the question, is fast food not as popular as it used to be? Wendy's is closing about 350 stores. They're calling it Project Fresh, which is kind of anti-fast food terminology.
Project Fresh?
Project Fresh, like
Okay.
healthier eating maybe
Okay.
is something that brings to mind for me. Pizza Hut's closing about 250 stores. They've also been reviving kind of vintage Pizza Hut locations. Have you seen this? Bringing back the buffet and taking
Oh, the Tiffany style lamps, the red plastic. Yes, I have
the
seen this.
classics, the red plastic cups,
Yes.
and people are traveling
right,
to them.
nostalgia based. You're exactly right. It's going back for the memory of my kids. When I was a kid, we did this.
And sit down dining that's
sit-down
affordable
dining.
for the family,
I haven't seen a sit down Pizza Hut in so long.
right?
Are there any in this area even?
I don't think if there are, text us. I'd love to go.
Yeah, because I don't remember. I think there is one. I remember being in Wenatchee a few years ago when my father-in-law's place was. We still visited Pops over in Wenatchee before he passed. They had a sit-down Pizza Hut, but that's the only one I know.
Did they have the buffet?
No.
Okay, that's going viral on social media right now. The Pizza Hut buffet. There's just a handful of locations in the U.S. where Pizza Hut still does their buffet, and people like travel to see it.
Are there pizza buffets still? I think it's Round Table that does one. I want to say up near my neck of the woods.
Yeah.
They built a new Round Table pizza in this millennium.
This
really?
economy?
I know. In this economy, it's funny because Jack in the Box quotes again. They're closing 150 to 200 stores nationwide. The Everett location was announced they're going to close October 10th. The only one so far in our area. 24 jobs will be lost. 20 crew members, 3 supervisors, and 1 store manager are being let go. We're alerted through that because the state requires businesses to tell them when they're going to be letting employees go. They're citing beef costs as one of the main reasons that they've got to find a simpler business model, a more,
streamlined,
streamlined,
smaller.
simplicity, tighter assets. Beef prices have gone through the roof. I mean, going absolutely crazy for everybody. If anybody who shopped for beef at the market knows, what was $6, $7 6 months ago is now $9, $10 for the same grade of ground beef, for example. And steak. I bought steaks for the missus this weekend. She's going camping with the girlfriends, so I had to go and buy steaks. And I was bemoaning the fact that she asked me after Costco closed, because not going to go buy.
But even the Costco steaks, it's the best deal around. But we got ribeye for a camping trip a couple weeks ago, and it was like $100 for it. Just crazy.
Yeah, what used to be $70 is now $80, $90, $100 at beef prices coast to coast. That's why Jack in the Box is closing down their location. And like Laura mentioned too, the economy is tough for everybody. Prices on everything have gone through. Groceries are up 4% across the board since a year ago. Fuel prices are going through the roof on everything. And that impacts every aspect of our lives, whether it's getting to the store, going camping, the food for delivery, the fuel for delivery to stores. That's played into food cost increases.
Well, and I would think that cheap fast food would be filling that gap a little bit. Like groceries are expensive. You can do like a, chicken nugget Happy Meal and kind of fill the gap. But that's the thing is I feel like every time I've been to McDonald's in the last couple of years, I'm shocked at how expensive it is.
Unless you're eating value menu stuff.
Or using the app, it's
I haven't bought into I don't drive through as much as I used to.
And you have a story about that, actually.
It's a theory.
Theory.
It's not proven. It's not borne out in any kind of research or fact, but it's my opinion that every time someone hands you food through a window, you're scraping a day off the end of your life. Every time. If you eat out 5 times a week and somebody hands you food through a window 5-6 times a week, that's a week at the end of your life you're giving away.
Listen.
It's just bad food choices.
Sometimes you have a hard week. Sometimes that trade-off makes sense to me.
And that last week's going to stink anyway. Who wants to be around? I'm kidding. Yeah, but that's the story about Jack in the Box and other major fast food industries closing their doors or tightening their belt in numerous cities across the country. And it's part of the economy. People can't afford to eat as much as they want to, as they used to, because feeding a family of 4 at McDonald's, unless you buy off the value menu, can be $50 for fast food, for drive-through food. And nobody lets you sit down anymore. All right, when we come back, we've got a story for you. It's, let me make sure I got it right here. Oh, Laura, cats.
Whatever you want to do. I kind of want to do cats.
Let's do cats again, because there's been a second major cat rescue, and the number of cats rescued just in Tacoma alone in just the last week will shock you. And we're asking a question, how come it's this bad? We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Dear Ursula. I have a group of friends who have bonded over...
Hi, I'm Ursula Voitin from the G and Ursula Show, and I'm launching a new podcast called Ask Ursula. This is your space. Real life, real questions, whether it's about family, friendships, love, and yes, even the fun stuff like travel and finding your signature scent. Hit me up and ask your questions at mynorthwest.com/Ursula. I look forward to connecting with you.
At mynorthwest.com and the G and Ursula YouTube channel.
When you see this in your kitchen,
The stainless steel fridge is covered in fingerprints.
you hear this.
Leslie, people are going to think you were raised in a barn or by wolves, or raised in a barn by wolves.
Fortunately, Wyman Stainless Steel 3-in-1 cleans, shines, and protects to give you the best shine. A spray and a wipe will have your fridge shining like a mirror.
Wow, my fridge looks brand new. Your fridge looks amazing, Leslie. Sorry, I was being a little dramatic earlier.
Your kitchen says a lot about you. Let it brag with Wyman.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, to get 30, to get 20, 20, 20, to get 20, 20, to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month. Sold!
Visit mintmobile.com/radio. Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan required. $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. See terms.
When I hit my 50s, I felt like things were slowing down.
This is Sandra's Metamucil story.
I started taking Metamucil for digestion, but had no idea it would impact so much more. Not only did Metamucil help me feel more regular, but my heart health saw the benefits too.
Metamucil. One simple routine, 4 health benefits. Digestive health starts here. Go to metamucil.com for more details.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight illnesses like pneumococcal pneumonia and RSV. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and can help protect you from getting really sick. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. See more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
This is for all you guys on Viagra. ED pills are no longer needed. The brutal side effects like 4-hour headaches, blurred vision, and that flush feeling can all be put behind you with our treatment. Here at West Coast Men's Health, we have a better approach to ED. Acoustic wave therapy creates blood flow circulation by safely removing the plaque in your arteries and restoring function naturally. Guys, let me be clear. Pills will never fix your problem. Our equipment is the latest technology, and our medical staff is the best in the industry. So give West Coast Men's Health a call today. Speak with our clinic manager. Ask him any question you like, how it works, the science behind it, and even the cost. If you suffer from ED or Peyronie's disease, give West Coast Men's Health a call today.
In addition to treating ED and Peyronie's disease, we now offer testosterone replacement therapy. With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Holy smokes, I can see. Hey, everybody, it's Rick Riz, and I just had refractive lens exchange from K2 Vision, and it's amazing. K2 Vision RLE means no more readers or glasses for me. Plus, I'll never get a cataract. Now, when I call a game, you won't see those readers dangling from the end of my nose to see the field and then my notes. I only wish I had done it sooner. It's like seeing a whole new ball game. K2 Vision RLE was quick and painless, over in just minutes, and I knew I was in great hands. The K2 Vision RLE team has done over 150,000 lens procedures. You can trust their stuff. K2 Vision RLE is my permanent solution to a lifetime of great vision. It could be yours too. Enjoy life's good years without readers, glasses, contacts, or cataracts. Get your free Zoom consult now at K2VisionRLE.com. Then you can make the same call I did. Goodbye, glasses. K2VisionRLE.com.
My name is Anne. I live in the Bay Area, and I'm 68 years old. I helped my mom navigate Medicare. That was a nightmare I hope never, ever to have to go through again. It was awful for her, it was awful for me, and I just knew I never wanted to go through that. I knew that there were choices and that there were balances to be made and that it could be totally impenetrable. Chapter basically does the work for you. When you're Turning 65, when you're looking at going on Medicare, they will look at all the options for you, give you advice as to what's best. One plan might be better for this, one plan might be better for that. I didn't have to do that calculation. They do the research and you don't have to pay for it. We gave a person the information, a person got back to us. You don't have to make yourself crazy.
To learn more about how you can get free personalized Medicare advice, visit chapter.com today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it today at carsforkids.org. Your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call 1-877-CARS4KIDS to donate your car today. That's cars with a K.
Hello, sweltering Seattle. John Curley here. Is your home staying cool? Are you losing sleep because it's just too hot? At Home Comfort Alliance, the goal is not to sell you a new system. It's to fix the one that you have. Repair first, replace only if it truly makes sense, saving you time and money. If your system's done, a heat pump gives you both cooling and heating for year-round comfort. Get real pricing in 60 seconds at HomeComfortAlliance.com. Call the comfort people. Home Comfort Alliance.
Welcome back to the Jake and Spike Show. Spike O'Neill, Laura Scott. Jake Skorheim's taking a day off today. Had a story last week that captured everyone's attention. The boat in Tacoma off Point Defiance, where curious neighbors, concerned neighbors, noticed that a boat that appeared to be abandoned, it turned out it wasn't by the end of the story, a boat that appeared to be abandoned had a large number of cats on board. First day that Pierce County Animal Rescue and then Tacoma Police Animal Rescue went in, found 31 cats the first day, I think 21 the following day. A total of 61 cats were living aboard this boat, about 100 foot off the shore of Point Defiance down in Tacoma, along with a gentleman who lived on the boat, who at the time had been absent for a couple of days because he had been bitten by one of his cats, and the conditions in this boat were horrific to the point where Tacoma Animal Rescue had to use hazmat suits to retrieve these 61 cats. A couple days after that story broke, there was a story of a stolen car in which 20 cats were living with a couple who was, in possession of the stolen vehicle. So that's within a week. This specifically Pierce County Animal Rescue, Tacoma Humane Society, are now required to, or are offering care to 80 cats in the Tacoma area.
Well, and that's just in the last week.
The last week.
They've got way more than that right now. They're at capacity. They've got like 190 cats in the shelter. And then even more in foster care. Actually, Madison Kading spoke to King 5 News about it.
They're on the skinnier side, and ringworm also just needs attention. Like, it could be painful for some cats. They're not in the best shape, but with care from our team, we're hopeful that they'll get to a state where they can be adopted. It's not just affecting our in-house resources, but it's also affecting our fosters that we rely on. We will always find space.
I mean, the thing that really this comes down to, and Tacoma City Council member John Hines is now calling for this, is spay and neuter. Do you remember that really funny quote last week? I mean, funny in context, but Animal Control Officer Sherry Page, who was one of the officers going onto the sailboat,
the boat, yeah.
She said that she goes by cat math.
Which is if you see one by cat math, which is if you see one, you times that by 10. People start with just a few cats and they're not spayed or neutered. And unfortunately, they do what cats do and make more cats.
We remember the boat owner in that Tacoma story, the 61 cats on the sailboat. He was given a cat that had a litter, and this was 4 years ago, I want to say in the story, if I remember correctly, was given a cat that had a litter of 6, and he could afford to spay or neuter a couple of them. But the ones he couldn't just started doing what cats do, as she said. And you mentioned it's expensive to care for a pet these days. We talked a minute ago about how people aren't getting to dine out or go to fast food anymore as much as they used to because of the economy. Pet care is often one of the things that you really can't not care for your pet. It's expensive. It's expensive just like everything else is. The guy that was on the boat in Tacoma said the two things he did with his limited job opportunities was pay the insurance on the boat and buy pet food for his pets. It's cost an average $125, $175 to spay or neuter a pet in this state. There are services available that offer, reduced prices or even financial assistance payment plans on spaying or neutering your pet. It's about time we do something from a legislative perspective or making it more accessible for folks who want to be pet owners. You know, pets add so much to your life. I don't have to tell you. If you're a pet owner, whether it's a cat like Laura has or a dog like we have, I can't imagine life without our dog.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. You can imagine life without your pet at home. Everybody feels the way about a pet. They love pets. Pets give you unconditional love. My favorite joke of all time, and this is very, very poor taste. I'm going to tell it anyway. If you want to know the definition of unconditional love, lock your dog in the trunk of your car for 2 hours, and then open the trunk up, and that dog jumps in your arms, tail wags, licks your face. Unconditional love. He said, now try that with your girlfriend. See the kind of response you get. Pets are wonderful, but it's responsible of pet owners to make sure that you take care of your pet and spay and neuter if you're not going to want your pet to overpopulate and then put their strain on the Tacoma Humane Society, as we mentioned. They're at capacity.
This would be a great time to donate to the Tacoma Humane Society if you want. It sounds like a lot of the cats are not adoptable, but if you go and look at some of the adoptable ones, maybe you can relieve some of the strain on the system. I can't recommend getting a cat or a dog enough.
Exactly right. And they always appreciate donations. Any Humane Society, no matter what part of the Puget Sound you live in, if you can make a donation of cash or supplies, they'd be happy to do that for you. They're happy to take that from you, I should say. Take care of
I
your
have some
pet.
extra toys. I should drop them off at Seattle Humane.
We
That'd
got
be
a couple of beds around our house we don't use. We should drop them off. That's a great call.
Let's do it.
Put our food where our money where our mouth is. All right, when we come back, it's a rundown at 1 o'clock, the top stories coast to coast and around the world, so you don't miss a thing. It's the Jake and Spike Show. We'll be right back.
Choke Points with Chris Sullivan.
With Choke Points, we try to answer listeners' questions. It can be as simple as a neighborhood stop sign, or it can be as big as the budget for transportation. I don't care. I'll find the answer for you. It's really easy to get a hold of me at mynorthwest.com. We have a direct link there that gets right to me. You can also do it in the app. You can hit me up on the text line.
Choke Points, presented by Carter Subaru. Tuesdays and Thursdays on KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM.
At Subaru of Puyallup, customers say it's the little things that make a big difference. A team that listens, straightforward pricing, seamless service scheduling, having the exact car, and a stress-free experience. And now, through August 31st, take advantage of incredible financing on select new models during the Subaru A Lot to Love event. For all the little things, choose Subaru of Puyallup, your stress-free dealership, part of the Harnish Auto family. Visit SubaruofPuyallup.com.
What if you could have the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years guaranteed? Now through August 24th, new Xfinity customers can get our best price on gig Wi-Fi this summer before it disappears. Just $50 a month for 5 years. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and our best equipment included. Plus, get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. It's Wi-Fi that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them. Like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense. Plus, it keeps you protected from online threats. And get Peacock Premium included for 2 years. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Get it now at Xfinity.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Speeds vary. Use of fiber coaxial cable. Learn more at Xfinity.com/same-day Wi-Fi.
Spike O'Neill here. If your loved one's caregiver is planning a vacation or just needs a break, why not consider Aegis Living Respite Care? A short-term stay that provides 24/7 expert care, Aegis Living amenities, and peace of mind for you and your family. Go to aegisliving.com/spike to schedule a visit today.
Are you looking to buy a house, but like everyone, you're priced out of the Bellevue, Kirkland, and Seattle market? Many buyers have the income, the credit, and the desire to own, but simply don't have the down payment, often at least $75,000 just for a starter home. Hi, I'm Scott Rireka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue with a great opportunity for home buyers. Introducing our Legacy Opportunity Loan. Legacy Group Capital has a select group of 100 new construction, single family, and townhomes in the top Western Washington locations. Acquire a new construction home with no down payment, allowable closing costs paid, and a competitive rate. Yes, that's no down payment and some closing costs paid by Legacy. A wise man once said, the hardest part of winning in real estate is just getting in. And now you can with our Legacy Opportunity Loan. So get in the game.
Limited properties available to qualified Washington borrowers. Learn more about this limited opportunity at LegacyG.com. Legacy Group Capital, LLC, and MLS ID 99045. Visit LegacyG.com for additional program details.
Pet Decorator wood flooring is the last floor you will ever need to buy.
Gorgeous hand-selected wide plank wood flooring made only from American hardwoods. The most durable patented finish on the market. Protected from pets with scratch, scuff, and dent-resistant performance. Waterproof with a lifetime warranty, attractively priced. You will love your new Forever floor. Call today, petdecorator.com.
Your old water heater's starting to peter. Day and Night has $150 off installation of any new water heater, including tankless, backed by a free lifetime warranty.
Hi, I'm Bruce. When your old water heater leaks or fails, the damage could be catastrophic. Whether you need an emergency replacement or you're planning ahead before it leaks, give us a call and we'll help you get into hot water again.
Get $150 off installation of any new water heater.
Dayandnight.net. Holy smokes! The On Cruise Adventures Rick Riz Show.
What happened at the ballpark yesterday?
Sparky's sitting on my scorebook here, my cat.
Friday mornings at 8:15 on Seattle's Morning News.
For the ones who get it done, Grainger offers the professional-grade products you need, delivered when and where you need them. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, KIRO FM, and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News.
ABC News, I'm Chuck Sievertson. No progress reported between the U.S. and Iran to end the war and reach a deal on Iran's nuke program. Today's the deadline for that, set in the agreement President Trump signed in June. ABC News contributor and former defense official Mick Mulroy says he doesn't expect major combat operations resuming.
This Strait of Hormuz has to be resolved for the United States to even get to the point where they can talk about the denuclearization plan.
President Trump ordering reduced U.S. participation in joint U.S.-South Korean military exercises that just started, saying they're costly and cause disrespect to North Korea's leader.
You see, I'm actually making it much safer. Kim Jong-un has always treated me with great respect.
Two U.S. officials tell ABC News that nothing has changed so far with the joint war games. House Democrats demanding answers from the Trump administration about mineral agreements amid reports that the Trump family and cabinet members could profit from them. This is ABC News. The Supreme Court has refused for a final time to review its denial of a President Trump appeal. It upholds the $5 million judgment that Trump ended up paying E. Jean Carroll after being found liable for sexual abuse and defamation. Military recruiting has bounced back, says ABC's Steve Bainon.
For most recruits, the decision is overwhelmingly economic, helping pay for college, health care, and above all, a reliable career. That pattern has held for decades, and recruiting has historically benefited when the civilian economy is a little tougher. The harder problem for the Pentagon is finding enough people who can qualify. That's the biggest hurdle.
Only 1 in 4 qualify. Guac update from ABC's Jim Ryan.
Mexican avocado pickers are back at work. They were sidelined by an American security alert designating cartels that operate in areas where avocados are grown as terrorist organizations. That alert has now been lifted. Shipments are resuming. The farm workers are back on the job.
Our Jim Ryan, Chuck Sievertson, ABC News.
A missing endangered person alert has been upgraded to an Amber Alert. Details straight ahead. First, let's check out your traffic, brought to you by your Seattle Mariners. South 5 into Seattle, we've improved considerably from our last report after we cleared all vehicles from our collision beneath the convention center. So we're slow from Lake City Way in the downtown. Gets pretty thick there as you approach the Ship Canal Bridge. North 5, just a little crowded between the West Seattle Bridge just past I-90. And then it does get packed between Mercer and the Ship Canal Bridge. Altogether, 15 minutes to get through downtown. South 405 crowded from South Bellevue to the VMAC. Bellevue to South Center still 25 minutes max. Tacoma to Olympia, 40-minute trip with 4 miles of backups between Lacey and Olympia, starting near Martin Way. Don't miss fireworks nights all summer, presented by T-Mobile. The next show is August 21st as the Mariners take on the Cubs. Get your tickets at mariners.com/fireworks.
KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Nate Connors. The Washington State Patrol has raised an urgent endangered missing person alert to an amber alert for 7-month-old Marcelo Martinez in the Vancouver area. Washington State Patrol says he was taken Sunday morning by 37-year-old Raul Martinez. They may be in a late 90s red Jeep Grand Cherokee. Marcelo was last reported wearing a blue onesie with green lettering. Anyone who sees Marcelo, Raul, or the vehicle should call 911. Their photos are on mynorthwest.com. Teachers and staff are back at Spokane Public Schools today, including buildings close to this month's wildfires. The district brought in environmental inspectors to one middle school and 2 elementary schools. More than 100 locations were tested. HVAC filters were replaced, ventilation systems restarted, and indoor air quality is being monitored. Superintendent Adam Swinyard tells KREM TV reopening is about restoring some routine.
It's about providing as much normalcy as possible.
The district says 37 employees and 164 district families lost their homes in the fires. Students returned to class on August 26th. Crews battling a wildfire near Mount Rainier's Sunrise Visitor Center says containment is growing. Fire Information Officer Larissa Bogardis says their main focus is protecting the historic visitor center by clearing vegetation nearby.
We've also put in a system of sprinklers that are fed by pumps and water tanks. So if fire should move this direction, we will wet things down very thoroughly.
Sunrise Visitor Center and surrounding roads and trails remain closed, though the rest of Mount Rainier National Park is open. The Grand Park 2 fires up to 57% containment after burning nearly 170 acres. Washington's Department of Licensing says a staff member reviews every personalized plate request, but the agency didn't catch the plate that read 8SIX47 until the Jason Ranch show on Seattle Red 770 AM asked about it this month. A DOL spokesperson said no one had complained. The agency sent a cancellation letter to the plate owner last Monday. It was originally issued in April. 8647 is a phrase the Secret Service believes is a coded threat against President Trump. Your KIRO News Radio weather, mostly sunny and 79 this afternoon with lingering upper-level wildfire haze. Morning clouds turning mostly sunny all week with highs pushing 80. Mostly sunny and 67 in downtown Seattle. I'm Nate Connors, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO Newsradio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
The civil authorities have issued a child abduction emergency for all of Washington beginning at 1:03 p.m. and ending at 2:03 p.m. The Washington State Patrol on behalf of Clark Sheriff's Office has issued an Amber Alert for a 7-month-old. Victim is a 7-month-old male named Marcelo Martinez. Victim is 24 inches tall, weighs 16 pounds, has brown hair, brown eyes, wearing a blue onesie saying "Grandmas are the best in the on." They were last seen on August 16, 2026, 5 o'clock. They are in the company of Raul Martinez, a 37-year-old male, who is 5 feet 6 inches, weighing 180 pounds with brown hair, brown eyes and wearing tight sweatpants, white shirt, and a blue/green jacket. There is no associated vehicle, but vehicle may have evidence taped on it. If you have information, please call 911.
All right, welcome back, everybody. That's a new Amber Alert for the missing child that we've been talking about all day today. Marcelo Martinez, 7-month-old, in the company of what's reported to be his father, Raul Martinez, 5'6", 180 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes, last seen in a blue-green jacket. And last we heard that was a Jeep Grand Cherokee was the vehicle that the police were looking for Mr. Martinez. A red Jeep Grand Cherokee. There's no license plate involved in this, but the state has decided to up this to an Amber Alert. You can find pictures of the individual as well as the child at mynorthwest.com. And as always, if you see any of the anything that would help investigators find this missing child and the reported father that has him abducted since Saturday, call 911. Let them know what you saw. We appreciate any help that you can give us. All right, it's time for the 1 o'clock roundup. We're going to start locally. As we mentioned to you throughout the course of the day today, there's a protest currently down at Seattle City Hall. It's an anti-flock protest. Our own James Lynch is down there bringing us details as they develop. It's a press conference with the city giving their take on the city's policy regarding flock cameras, and protesters giving you their opinions on why the city doesn't need flock cameras. They feel the intrusion into personal privacy, the misuse of information gathered by flock cameras. Flock cameras gather information on a revised 7-day period. There used to be 30 days of retained information gathered by flock cameras. Flock cameras are a national service numerous cities around the country subscribe into, including numerous cities in the state of Washington. Seattle does not. They're considering whether or not to add flock cameras. Renton has decided to terminate their contract with flock cameras. These cameras record license plate information. They store that for 7 days, used in police assisting law enforcement communities in solving crimes. They are oftentimes the only information available for the commission of various crimes involving automobiles, whether it's stolen cars, situations like the Amber Alert we just notified you about. But concerned citizens are protesting the misuse of this information. Again, there's a protest going on right now at City Hall in Seattle. There's one at 5 o'clock this evening in Renton regarding the use of flock cameras. Any information that's updated from that, James Lynch will give it to us as the afternoon rolls along. Around the world today, we're talking in a 1 o'clock roundup here for you, the Jake and Spike Show. Let's turn our attention to Hawaii, where Hurricane Lala just finished ravishing the Big Island of Hawaii. Hurricane force winds, 100-mile-an-hour winds hit the Big Island. It was then downgraded, Hurricane Lala downgraded to tropical storm Lala, which luckily shifted west and didn't track directly over the remaining Hawaiian Island chain. Hawaii has suffered 100-plus mile-an-hour winds. 36 inches of rain fell on the Big Island of Hawaii since Saturday. Over the course of about 36 hours, the storm passed over. There has been 100,000 people that have lost power on the Big Island. 100-plus homes have been washed away. There's been one recorded death because of Hurricane, now Tropical Storm Lala, as it moves west and northwest over the Pacific, over inhabited areas. Flights have been canceled at SeaTac. 143 flights, I believe, have been canceled so far. The bulk of them inter-island flights on Alaska or Hawaii Airlines. Also, 31 trans-Pacific flights have been canceled out of SeaTac with regard to flights to or from Hawaii. If you have travel plans or you have loved ones on the island, getting back is going to be conditions evolve with regard to recovery from Hurricane Lala. Lots of major flooding in Hawaii. As I mentioned, 100,000 people are without power in Hawaii because of Hurricane/Tropical Storm Lala. Roads have been washed out. Power's out for 100-plus thousand. If you have travel plans to Hawaii, you know that when there's a national emergency, which has been declared by the federal government and the state of Hawaii have both declared this a national emergency, natural disaster emergency conditions have been declared. So if you've got travel plans, you may be eligible for refunds with regard to travel flights, with regard to hotel bookings, VRBOs. They all offer extenuating circumstances clauses in their agreements. If you've got a hotel booking or a private booking, check into your details. If you have a trip planned to Hawaii on the heels of this disaster situation in Hawaii, there's always time to rethink your travel plans. It's a community dealing with the aftermath of a hurricane and flooding and power outages. The last thing they need is tourists showing up, but it's not going to be the best vacation for you. If you got a chance to maybe rethink your travel plans or see if you're due a refund, reschedule your travel plans. It's always difficult to do that. I understand. We've had the case ourselves where things come up, emergency situations develop, storms hit, and you have to cancel travel plans. You may be due to refunds. You may be due to the ability to rebook and rethink your schedule. It's worth looking into. If you're thinking you're hearing the news from Hawaii and things have gotten just chaotic in Hawaii because of Hurricane Lala, take a few minutes to look into your situation, see if it's appropriate or even available for you to travel. And if you can't make your trip, a scheduled trip to Hawaii, see if you do some kind of assistance in that with regard to your bookings, refunds, rescheduling your travel plans. It's worth your time and effort to look into it. Going to now turn our attention around the planet to the USS Abraham Lincoln. We've been covering the story for a couple weeks now. Well, The escalating story of the Abraham Lincoln really came to a head last week when it was reported nationally through various media outlets that a sailor had jumped overboard on the USS Abraham Lincoln. And it was first reported as a potential suicide attempt, which was denied by the official channels at the U.S. Navy and the Department of Defense. Denied any stories, saying there was misinformation being spread. But that story would not go away because now there's reports, and these have been substantiated for a long time, quite a while, that the USS Abraham Lincoln, which is now in its 250th or 249th day of deployment, the longest continued deployment without a port call in U.S. naval history. The Abraham Lincoln was sent to the Gulf under the first mission of assisting Iranian citizens during the uprising in Iran that led to, this was the precursor to the war in Iran that President Trump declared. So the Abraham Lincoln was deployed to help first with assistance to Iranian protesters. Then it was to assist in the military action against Iran. Then it was part of the naval blockade that took part in the Strait of Hormuz. Long story short, the Abraham Lincoln is, by all accounts, from service members aboard, from reports from their families here at home. The aircraft carrier, which houses about 5,000 sailors, is suffering from low supplies. It's suffering from fatigue of the staff, stress and strain on the crew of the Abraham Lincoln. There was a reporter on ESPN sent a reporter to the Abraham Lincoln last weekend that went and spent 3 days aboard ship and then interviewed numerous sailors. And the reports from the CNN report on the Abraham Lincoln report stories of black mold on the ship, of limited supplies, diminished supplies, of poor food quality. That's led to health concerns on the Abraham Lincoln, led to massive weight loss by numerous sailors aboard the Abraham Lincoln. Reports of, like I said, mental health strain, anxiety from crew members. The reports from CNN stated that there were 3 different, and this has been unsubstantiated by anybody but CNN, 3 attempted suicides by crew members aboard the Abraham Lincoln because stress and fatigue are so high. The problem, according to the crew members who spoke with a CNN reporter, are lack of a clear or continuous, there's no continuity of messaging of mission aboard the Abraham Lincoln. Crew members have been told various things from their supervisors, and this all starts from both President Trump and Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, who say the mission was to, first help assist with protesters, make sure that those folks get what they need. Then it was to help eliminate Iran's nuclear capabilities. Then it was to run the blockade around the Strait of Hormuz and try to end that conflict in the Strait of Hormuz that shut down 25% of all global fuel transports, not to mention manure or fertilizer transports, I should say, through the Strait of Hormuz. Long story short is it's difficult to get a straight answer out of this administration as well as the Defense Department about what is the actual condition of life aboard the Abraham Lincoln. Now, it's been reported that the relief ship, I believe it's the USS George Washington, has been tasked out of San Diego to relieve the crew of the Abraham Lincoln, which again has been on board under sail, I guess under deployment, for 240 plus days, the longest deployment in U.S. naval history. And it's just been too much for the crew of the Abraham Lincoln. We're asking too much of the crew of the Abraham Lincoln. President Trump made a recent quote when asked directly about the conditions aboard the Abraham Lincoln, about the reported attempted suicide of a service member because of the stress and strain on this crew, these 5,000 plus service members, and this was his response.
Family members of U.S. service members are concerned about the conditions on board the USS Lincoln.
Well, no, that ship is moving. No, they're not. That ship is moving right now, or very shortly, and it's being replaced with another very similar ship.
Has the deployment's gone on too long?
No. Not nearly long enough.
I'm not going to take this opportunity to say how just ridiculously insensitive and insulting that is. Not long enough, but that's what's to be expected from, I think, President Trump with his lack of insight into particular situations, with his complete inability, refusal to actually address realities of situations. And the examples are too vast to get into here. But when you've got the defense secretary saying that reports of short supplies, of unsanitary conditions, of plumbing systems aboard the ship that have been non-functional in up to 25% of the Abraham Lincoln, you're talking about a community of 5,000 sailors and airmen and crew with every particular aspect of living aboard an aircraft carrier. Anybody who's ever served on an aircraft carrier or served aboard a Navy ship of any capacity will tell you it's different than any other type of military deployment. I've never served, so I'm going to get that out, be completely transparent. I've never served. Both my father and all my uncles served in various capacities, whether it was Air Force, U.S. Army, my dad was. Both my uncles served in the Navy, and I've talked to them repeatedly about deployment aboard ship. It's a different type of world than other branches of the military because you don't get weekends off. You don't get shore leave. You're supposed to get shore leave. This ship has been without port for an unprecedented amount of time. So the stress and strain every day is the same thing. You get up, you work, you eat, you sleep, day after day after day after day. And when you can't get a straight message about what the mission is, what your goals are, what deployment, what objectives are, when you'll be relieved, what these guys have been redeployed from numerous tasks, given to them. And when you can't get a straight answer from your leaders, your commander in chief, the Secretary of Defense, it builds up on these families and these service members. And now it's becoming undeniable, the conditions aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln. The fact that these sailors and airmen and everybody else aboard is just gone above and beyond what should be asked of the military. I mean, I'm not sure what else to say about this story other than let's at least call what's going on factually and accurately and acknowledge that these service members have been undersupplied, have been overextended. Let's at least give the sailors and service members and crew members and airmen aboard that respect to say, look, this is actually what's going on. This is what's going on aboard the Abraham Lincoln. And the fact that the USS George Washington has been deployed, the president's right, but it's going to take almost, I think, 3 weeks is the estimated time of travel. The George Washington was moored in San Diego and has to travel through the Panama Strait and then cross the Atlantic to get to the Strait of Hormuz. And in this conflict with Iran that is not ebbing at any point in time, the blockade that is still in place in the Strait of Hormuz, these crew members aren't just sitting aboard ship. It's not that they're just sitting aboard ship without the ability to go to port, to decompress, to resupply. This is a ship in combat mode under full, I don't want to say fear of strike, but anticipation of the reality of potential hostile action against USS Abraham Lincoln. It's just asking too much of crew members, and I've kind of belabored the point here, and I apologize. But this story it gets to me. It gets to everybody. If you got people who have served in your family or friends that you know, and this crew has performed above and beyond the call of duty, and relief is coming, but this deployment began in November for the Abraham Lincoln. First it was, I believe they were in part of the Venezuelan operation. That was, pretty in and out, fast and furious, went off without any hitch. But then the ship was then turned and aimed toward the Middle East, where they were deployed in Iran. These are husbands and fathers and brothers and sons and daughters aboard this aircraft carrier, and families that don't know, when their family members are going to be coming home, that don't have adequate supplies, that don't have adequate mental health care. And what really gets to me in this situation, when I see commentators on news, conservative news channels that are defending the policies and statements by this administration, whether it's the president, the secretary of defense, or whomever it may be, and they try to, say that these sailors need to just toughen up, need to, this is what they signed up for. I see social media posts by former military personnel who say, well, in my day this, and in my day we did that, and we did this. It's not a competition. It's not about your misery and your unpleasant experience aboard ship was tougher than theirs, and we're supposed to have the backs and support of these crew members and these service members, and be empathetic and understanding and respectful of what they go through, because they put themselves, the front line of defense for our nation's security. If this is indeed about Iran's nuclear capabilities and the fact that we are there because this is a rogue, hostile nation, and I'm full agreement of that. There's no argument that Iran is a rogue nation with, terrorist proxies across the world, and they're a terrorist regime that mistreats its people. All those things are accurate. But the USS Abraham Lincoln, the face of our military presence in that region, and the sailors and service members and airmen aboard, which haven't been given the support, let alone at least respectful acknowledgement of what they're going through, is just absolutely wrong. And, help is on the way. But let's help the sailors that are aboard now by just at least acknowledging what they're going through and giving everybody's about supporting the troops. We all are, and we always should be about supporting the troops. But part of supporting the troops is acknowledging what the troops are going through and dealing factually about what's going on with Iran and the conflict in Iran and our U.S. service members' involvement in that. I've said enough. All right, when we come back, it's our question of the day. We asked you earlier, and it seems in the face of this last story, it seems kind of, unimportant, but we're talking about food vendors in Seattle with the proliferation of unlicensed and unregulated and unsafe, possibly, food vendors. Do you service these things? Do you buy food from food vendors, whether it's a pop-up shop somewhere in the city or a cart outside the stadium? Still time to text us. The Muckleshoot Casino Resort text line, 888-973-5476. We'll be right back after these.
This hour is brought to you by Insulation Northwest.
KIRO Newsradio is honored to bring home one of the nation's top awards in our industry, the prestigious National Edward R. Murrow Award for breaking news coverage. One award is the result of our team's hard work every single day, and none of it would be possible without you. You trust us with important information every time you choose us. Whether you listen over the air, on the KIRO Newsradio app, or you watch us on YouTube, thank you.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. John always listens to his truck. So when his brakes start talking, he goes to AutoZone, where a helpful AutoZoner gets him the right parts. If John has time to put them in, he borrows a kit with Loan-A-Tool. And if he doesn't, he gets a free shop referral. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Deposit required for Loan-A-Tool. Restrictions apply.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
And Doug.
Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons, and lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen, and oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live, and you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty. Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. This is Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. Our summertime savings event means 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months, backed by our unbeatable warranties. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today.
On BritBox, your next hidden gem is right around the corner.
If you're going to be bold, here is the place to do it.
Get ready for Britain's most anticipated series, streaming exclusively on BritBox. Catch new seasons of favourites, including Ludwig, starring David Mitchell.
You want someone to get murdered?
And the eagerly awaited new adaptation of Agatha Christie's iconic detective duo, Tommy and Tuppence.
Do you think we're actually really good at this?
Stream the best of British TV on BritBox. Watch with a free trial.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
Hey, I know something you probably haven't done in a while. Climb into your crawl space or your attic. Yeah, me neither. Mike Salk here. And most homeowners avoid those areas for good reason. But it's important to check on them regularly, especially here in the Northwest, where groundwater can wreak havoc and many homes lack the proper insulation in these spaces. So when it's hot in the summer, your house gets even hotter. And guess what? When it's cold in the winter, your house gets even colder because you don't have enough insulation. The good news, you don't have to crawl into those dingy areas, because Crawl Pros will do it. They go where you don't want to. That's what they did at my house. They found a little rodent intrusion and they found the insulation problem. So yeah, they can help you get it all fixed just like they did with me. And if you need any work done, local utility companies offer rebates that could save you thousands on your project. Don't just assume that your crawl space and attic are in great condition. Do what I did. Call Crawl Pros today. Schedule a free corner-to-corner inspection at crawlpros.com.
It's the little things at Subaru of Puyallup, a team that listens, straightforward pricing. Through August 31st, incredible financing on select models during the Subaru A Lot to Love event. Subaru of Puyallup, your stress-free dealership.
Looking for a simple solution to hair loss this summer? Get the same breakthrough one-day treatment I received at Advanced Hair during their once-yearly summer savings event. Your own natural hair begins to regrow the very next day, and Advanced Hair guarantees it will grow. Take advantage of your flexible summer calendar and get the most hair for your dollar during their best offer of the year. For details and a free consultation, call 425-449-8185, advancedhair.com.
Step into Seahawks game day at the Pro Shop, where the roar of the 12s begins. And official Seahawks gear is always within reach.
Touchdown, Seahawks!
This is the Pro Shop. Visit the official store of the Seattle Seahawks, located at Lumen Field and the Landing in Renton.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granillo. The Washington State Patrol has issued an Amber Alert for a 7-month-old boy. The Clark County Sheriff's Office says Marcelo Martinez was taken by Raul Martinez yesterday morning in the Vancouver area between 5 and 6 a.m. Not known what vehicle Raul was driving, but the State Patrol says it may have evidence tape on it. You can see a picture of Marcelo and Raul on mynorthwest.com. Call 911 if you see them. In Kitsap County, a suspected drunk driver is in the hospital after being way over the legal limits. Here's KIRO News Radio's Frank Lindsay.
An Olalla woman crashed her car into a ditch on Long Lake Road in Kitsap County on Sunday. Her blood alcohol content was 0.4%. That's 5 times over Washington's legal limit of 0.08. Crews had to use the jaws of life to cut the roof off and get her out. The Kitsap County Prosecutor's Office is reviewing the case for charges. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
A new college basketball showcase is coming to Climate Pledge Arena. The inaugural Seattle Holiday Classic features a doubleheader with Washington versus Baylor and Seattle University taking on Washington State. Tickets go on sale this Wednesday. One ticket will get you into both games on Saturday, December 19th. Now to the closing bell reports. And a sell-off today with the expiration of that memorandum of understanding between the U.S. and Iran to end the conflict. Dow lost 272, S&P off 41, and NASDAQ was 84 points down. Jack in the Box in Everett is set to close permanently this fall, part of a nationwide effort to close up to 200 underperforming locations as the fast food chain looks to cut costs and reduce debts. Restaurant on Southeast Everett Mall Way will shut down October 10th, eliminating 24 jobs. At 1:33 now, we head to the real-time traffic desk and check in with Nate Connors.
All right, thanks, Aaron. Lake Washington Windows and Doors has our update. South 5 into Seattle looking pretty good. You're going to slow at 45th there in the U District into downtown, 20-minute max from Linwood. North 5 scattered backups starting before the West Seattle Bridge to the Ship Canal Bridge, a very usual backup for this time of day. 20 minutes max to get through all this. South 405 has suddenly turned into a really thick backup from South Bellevue all the way down past the VMAC. Bellevue to South Center has spiked to 40 minutes. I haven't heard or seen any blocking issues yet, but something's responsible here. In South Tacoma, North 5 and South 56, we've got a car fire. It managed to get to the Gore point there of the on-ramp, so it's not blocking, but it's a huge distraction, and it's causing a bit of an early merge there. Tacoma to Olympia is still hovering at 40 minutes with 4 miles of scattered backups between Lacey and Olympia. Save $588 on every window, $1,088 on every door, plus free heat deflecting glass. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
And to your forecast now, we'll have a nice week in store with mostly sunny skies after some morning clouds and highs each day in the mid to upper 70s. That's where we are right now in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Welcome back to the Jake and Spike Show. It's time for our question of the day. But before we do that, we've got in studio Aaron Granillo. And I consider you to be my go-to resource for all things Mariner baseball.
Yes.
There you go, Andrew. So I watched the M's take 2 of 3, almost 3 of 3.
Yeah, should have.
So let me ask you this. Now we go into, we took 2 of 3 from the Houston Astros, the front-running Houston Astros in this division, which ain't saying much. Find ourselves 4 games back. We now head to Milwaukee and then Chicago, right? The Cubbies.
That's right. Cubbies come to town, yeah.
Milwaukee has the best record in baseball. Chicago is, 9 games over 500. They're in second place in their division.
We got a bunch of playoff teams we're facing this month, yeah.
So
teams with winning records.
That's my question. Is every series the Mariners play from here on out, given the fact that they put themselves so far behind the 8 ball?
Through August, at least, yeah.
These are all playoff series.
Yeah.
Every series we get into nowadays, from here on out, the M's have played themselves. They've gotten rid of any wiggle room. It's all playoff baseball.
Well, it's either rise to the occasion or, fall by the wayside. And that's why those games in the early parts of the season, April, May, June, are so important, because now you come to this stretch of the season where it's so difficult and you find yourself in such a big hole. Like Friday night's loss would have just been annoying, right? When the walk-off home run went but in that moment it felt like the death knell. Right, it felt like, now the season's over officially.
After lose 2 of 3 in New York?
Yeah, exactly. But, credit to the Mariners. They did come back, and they showed some fight.
I thought they had that when the 2 in the 10th.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, okay, all right.
I know. The whole series, they looked like the team they could be and that we've been waiting for. So we've seen that before throughout the season, though, where it looks like, okay, they finally have turned a corner,
right,
only to see them falter again. We'll see if this is any different.
So when you see a team with this much talent, and I hate to keep banging on this one drum, but everybody seems to be playing it these days. See a team with this much talent and this lack of consistency, where else do you look besides coaching, right?
Injuries would be the only other, I think,
am I being
explanation.
unfair? Am I being armchair quarterback and unfair to Dan Wilson?
You're not the only one, Spike. You're not the only one. A lot of people have been hammering Dan Wilson this season for managerial decisions, in-game decisions. The one thing that you could say to defend him, though, is that he's been consistent.
Consistently inconsistent? I don't know.
He's been consistent.
Yeah,
I mean, good or bad, he says the same thing. And that might really bother some fans, but I think the guys in the clubhouse are still looking at him as a leader. I don't think he's lost the clubhouse. I will say that based on what you hear from the players. And now they've got a chance to prove it. They got what, 40 some odd games left to show that.
Left. And the stretch at the end of September is
easier.
It's a cake. I mean, it's easier.
Yeah.
But you got to rise to the occasion, as you said. You got to rise to the occasion.
And they've got a chance to fight for Dan Wilson's job, I think, because if they miss the playoffs somehow, some way, I don't see how you keep Dan.
I don't see how he survives missing the playoffs with the expectations that this team went into the season with.
Yeah,
you caught Cal Raleigh's post game last week.
Yeah,
where he just owned it.
Said I'm awful.
It's me.
Yes.
It's on me. He's the leader of this ball club. He's one of the leaders of this ball club.
Yeah.
And the fact that he hit turned out to be the game winner.
Yeah. The home run yesterday.
Yeah. Did it ping off the top of the wall and bounce the right way for us? Right.
That is a home run in 1 out of 30 ballparks.
That's luckily we were there.
The Crawford boxes out in Houston. Yeah.
Thanks, my friend.
Yeah, you got it.
All right, M's are off today. Open up their series with Milwaukee
Yes,
tomorrow.
sir. Yep.
All right, folks, welcome back to the show. It is the time for your answers to the question of the day. And we started this with a proliferation of pop-up food vendors, unlicensed, maybe unsafe food vendors that we see all over the place, all over the stadium region, stadium district of the city. There were 30 different vendors approximately outside of the Seahawks preseason home game against the Dallas Cowboys on Saturday. And we just asked the question, with so many of these pop-up shops, these little food cart vendors up and down the streets, up and down the city, all over the place, do you frequent these folks? Do you take the shot? Is it a case-by-case decision to look at the vendor you're talking to? I don't know if it's worth the risk. And we've got a lot of you responded to this. We got pages and pages and pages of responses to this. Do you buy food from these pop-up unlicensed vendors? Do you feel safe? Are you that hungry?
John in Renton says, no way would I buy one. Fernando in Seattle says, I'm going to be honest. Yes, I have on the way to a ball game. The street dogs feel and taste like the ones you get from a backyard family barbecue. These guys aren't out there to get people sick.
I know they're not intending to get people sick. No one intends to get people sick. Paul in the 253 says, Spike, I do not eat food from a place that can move. I don't know. We didn't get to the food truck story I wanted to get to today. Maybe we can later today or at the end of this break if we have time. The food truck community in this community is phenomenal. The food trucks in this city are top shelf. But they're licensed. They're regulated. Government's always in the way. Government's always over-regulating. Government, blah, 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 blah. I'm a firm believer in more government if it's doing its job effectively. Of course, there's waste. There's bureaucratic red tape garbage in the way of most things government tries to get done, but oftentimes because it's trying to do the right thing for you. It's trying to make sure that the food you eat isn't going to get you sick. I mean, heaven forbid, look at the national food crisis we have with regard to lettuce, or now it's jalapenos. And these are the folks that are doing it above board. Maybe I'm making an argument for the other side. What's the point in regulations if we're still getting sick eating lettuce?
We're not getting as sick as we did.
Well, yeah.
206 says, I'm a restaurant owner in Seattle. The illegal food stands popping up every night near us are infuriating. We follow the rules, always have an excellent rating. We pay our permits, taxes, rent, etc. for the last 32 years. When our King County health inspector came by a few weeks ago, I inquired, why aren't they cracking down and closing these operations? He said their hands are tied. Many times he has approached the stands and the operators told him to leave and they threatened violence if he didn't. He also said the SPD doesn't have the resources to accompany the inspectors for every attempted shutdown.
We speculated on that earlier about not having the resources, whether it's the health department, King County Health Inspector says they're threatened with violence if they approach these folks and the cops, there are not enough cops to do the job. I would imagine that if I'm a King County Health Inspector, 206 restaurant owner, I appreciate that. And we mentioned earlier how this isn't just about health. It's also about the health of a business who's doing things the right way, of getting permits and meeting standards. If a King County Health Inspector is being threatened with violence, my next stop wouldn't be the route that I'm on inspecting facilities. My next stop would be to a cop and say to a cop, these guys just threatened me with violence. I'll bear witness to that. And then the cops should lock these guys up. I mean, are we just writing tickets for folks? Are we confiscating equipment from these folks? I mean, I mentioned the shop up in my neighborhood in Shoreline that's been there for months, into last year. We know it's illegal. We know they don't have permits. They got busted on Wednesday. They were back on Thursday right across the street. I mean, did they confiscate their equipment? And this is just part of that organized crime wing we talked about when we spoke to the director of the, I didn't get to a third of these letters, so many pages. The director of the Seattle Food Truck Association, the president, said he tried to record video of these trucks that are here from California, and he was assaulted. He was injured. Oh, there's so much of this. We'll get to more of these in the last call. We'll read some more of these in the last call. We appreciate you guys giving us some of your day today. When we come back, it's, ironically enough, it's feeding time. We're going to check our feeds and tell you what's been popping up on our social media feeds between Laura and I. Some of it's great. You're going to love what we have to show you. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
KIRO News Radio is right there with you.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us.
On your smart speaker before you head out the door.
We continue to be in recovery mode on northbound I-5.
Watch live on YouTube or the KIRO News Radio app.
Newfangled idea of having to see the people while they're talking.
The office, the gym, wherever you are.
Get on the YouTube channel. The whole gang's there.
KIRO News Radio. 97.3 FM. Powered by MyNorthwest.com.
Hey, Spike O'Neill for Aegis Living. If you're at a point in your life where you need to take a look at senior living or memory care for yourself or a loved one, family member, do yourself a favor and check out the folks at Aegis Living, facilities all across the Northwest. Go to aegisliving.com/spike and schedule a visit. What you're going to find are luxury communities, chef-prepared meals, resort-style amenities, and a level of care that has earned them recognition most senior living providers would only dream about. Voted best of Western Washington, but more than that, they're voted the #1 senior living community in all of America for 2025. Seniorly Magazine analyzed 500,000 reviews, over 60,000 communities, and ranked Aegis Living #1 in America. Go to aegisliving.com/spike and schedule a visit today.
This is a test of your emergency alert system.
This is it. These are the nights. The ones where you laugh until you can't anymore. And smile until your head hits the pillow. Where everything feels just right. Because it is. Muckleshoot Casino Resort. Must be 21 and over. Please gamble responsibly.
Guys, I'll never forget the first time I saw somebody get results at our clinic. He was an 81-year-old man who hadn't been intimate with his wife in over 8 years. Viagra had stopped working for him, and he was desperate for help. After several treatments, he walked into my office and told me he couldn't believe the results. Needless to say, this was a very happy man. This man made me a believer in what we do. He had taken pills for years, but he had never fixed the problem. When he came to us, we fixed the problem. Our treatment does what no pill can do. So give West Coast Men's Health a call today. Speak with our clinic manager. Ask him any question you like, how it works, the science behind it, and even the cost. Change your life today, like the thousands of men who already have.
In addition to treating ED and Peyronie's disease, we now offer testosterone replacement therapy. With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Certain industries expose workers to hazardous chemicals. If you worked in a paper or pulp mill, or in aircraft manufacturing or painting at Boeing, and have a child born with birth defects, your child may be entitled to legal damages as a result of your exposure to such chemicals. Birth defects have been linked to toxic chemicals, metals, and solvents used in these industries. If your child was born with brain or spinal cord damage, organ or limb malformations, blindness, cerebral palsy, genetic damage, or other birth defects, and you're a past or present worker in a paper or pulp mill, aircraft manufacturing, or painting, contact us now toll-free at 1-866-99-TOXIC. Your children may be entitled to legal damages. If you're a past or present worker in a paper or pulp mill or aircraft manufacturing or painting at Boeing, and your child has a birth defect, call toll-free at 1-866-99-TOXIC. Your call is confidential. 1-866-99-TOXIC. Message authorized by Weinstein Cajano, 600 University Street, Suite 1620, Seattle, Washington.
Looking for the best deal on a new home? Discover the D.R. Horton Home of the Week. With new home communities from Lacey to Stanwood, D.R. Horton has the right home for the best value. Visit drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
There's a sink at the brink and a drain that's a pain. DayandNight.net.
Slow drain? Backed up toilet? Call Day and Night to save $100 off any drain cleaning.
Hi, I'm Bruce with Day and Night Plumbing and Heating.
From a slow drain to a major backup, no drain is too big or too small. Whether we're your first choice or smart second opinion, I guarantee our experts will solve any drain problem. day or night.
Now get $100 off any drain cleaning.
dayandnight.net.
Thinking about a new roof or exterior upgrade, but worried about the cost? This is Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. We've created our summertime savings event to make it simple and affordable. Save up to $3,000 off your exterior project or get 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest up to 24 months. And every qualifying GAF roof is backed by our lifetime Golden Pledge warranty. One call gets you started. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today. Held to a higher standard since 1968.
It's the little things at Subaru of Puyallup, a team that listens, straightforward pricing. Through August 31st, incredible financing on select models during the Subaru A Lot to Love event. Subaru of Puyallup, your stress-free dealership.
The new All-Pro battery by Steel. Tackle any task with 60% more peak power, exclusively available only at your local Steel dealer. 60% peak power comparison between AP300PC and AP300S.
Clutter happens. Let Closets by Design save the day. For a limited time, get 40% off plus an additional 15% off and 18 months 0% financing on approved credit if paid in full. Go to closetsbydesign.com or call 1-800-BY-DESIGN.
Hey, it's Jason Rantz. If your air conditioner is barely hanging on, CM Heating has one of the best offers I've heard this summer. Right now, you can get any size high-efficiency AC system for just $179.99 a month with 0 upfront costs. And here's the game changer. CM Heating's Comfort as a Service program includes lifetime repairs, annual maintenance, and even filters at no additional charge ever. Go to cmheating.com and schedule your free estimate online today.
License number CMHEAHL 751LW.
Welcome back to the Jake and Spike Show. It's feeding time. Time for us to check our feeds, our social media feeds. Jake and I started this a couple months ago. By the way, Jake Skorheim's spending a day with family today. Laura, Scott, and I are doing the show for you. We're glad you're here with us. We noticed a couple months ago that while Jake and I are leading pretty similar lives, family guys living in the great Northwest, working in media, our social media feeds were like night and day. And everybody knows that you're being fed what you look at. The more time you spend on any particular element on social media, that's what the algorithms say. Oh, you like this? You like being mad about stuff? Let me show you some more stuff to be mad about. So we took a look at what was our feed. What are we being fed by social media algorithms? And it's ironic that Laura and I both today came in with the exact same feed.
Exact same story.
Yeah,
we both saw the same thing.
And this is a really pleasant story, I think, because it can be so dark and dirty out there, and we talk all the time about the stuff that's troubling our community and our world, because in the news business, that's kind of what we have to be aware of. We have to make you aware of. When you see something pleasant, we like to accentuate that. So Laura brought this in, and I saw the same thing. So I said, yep, that's a great choice. We're talking about the Savannah Bananas. If you're not familiar with the Savannah Bananas, do we have the picture I sent you? Can we share that? Last year, the Savannah Bananas are kind of an exhibition baseball experience, kind of a barnstorming tour that has a new take on baseball. It cures all the things that are wrong with baseball from a Gen Z perspective and a post-millennial perspective.
Not enough stilts.
Not enough stilts, not enough acrobatics, no flips, not enough choreographed dancing on game. Baseball can be seen by a lot of people of this short attention span generation to be too long and too slow. So the Savannah Bananas brought in these extremely skilled baseball players who do flips and do tricks and do dances, and they're very crowd interactive. And these guys roam the country. They were here last summer. I got to go to a game, took my wife to a Savannah Bananas game because she saw it on social media. There's me and the founder of the Savannah Bananas. They come up into the stands. They're very fan interactive. It's a great experience. And they were in, I believe this tape was from Colorado, if I'm not mistaken. It's from the Rockies ballpark in Colorado. And one of the things the Savannah Bananas have done, like I said, they bring out not just skilled baseball players. They reformatted how the game is played. They play innings. But like the first inning, whoever scores the most runs in the first inning wins 1 point. It's a fresh start in the second inning. You can be down 7-0, but you got a fresh start in the second inning. The first inning's behind you. They got their point. You can get points for inning 2. So it's really kind of keeps the game moving forward. It's a unique way to look at the game. They just signed a Broadway star.
Yeah.
Because he could catch and throw and play baseball?
So, yeah, he can play baseball. He's also Tony nominated, Derek Klena. And you've probably seen him, singing Broadway show tunes.
Or if you've gone to a movie, if you went to see The Wiz, Or not The Wiz.
Well, no, he was in Wicked.
Wicked, that's Wicked I'm thinking of.
He played Fiyero in Wicked. He was Phantom of the Opera, famously. He's also been on like TV, movies, but...
And he can hit.
He can play baseball. So he's like the newest member of the Savannah Bananas. And honestly, ever since he joined, I don't know if it's just because I really like musical theater and that's why it's always popping up in my algorithm. But ever since he joined, I've been seeing his renditions of famous Broadway songs. It's brought a real show tunes bent to the Savannah Bananas performances.
And they get an even bigger name this week, which I've noticed and you noticed. So let's play that tape.
The window is open, so's the door. I didn't know they did that anymore. Who knew we owned 8,000 salad plates? For years I've roamed these empty halls. Why have a ballroom with no balls? Finally they're opening up the gates.
Obviously, that's Kristen Bell.
Reprising her performance in Frozen, the movie, and the musical. And she's wheeling her way through the crowd at a Savannah Bananas game. And the place is going bananas, no pun intended. They loved her. These guys have really reinvented how baseball interacts with its fans. And, you know, when the Mariners are playing great ball, it's great to get a sellout crowd down at the ballpark. Good luck getting a ticket to a Savannah Bananas game anywhere. And those guys sell out every place they go. They do incredible philanthropic work. They have a program called Bananas Foster, where they
that's actually really cute. It's a good name.
Well, because they support foster parenting. The founder of the Savannah Bananas team and movement and engine is a foster parent of numerous foster kids, and every time they come to a market, they promote and invest in foster care programs in that community.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean it's really the great showmanship.
Well,
great community involvement.
You've been to a game. You said it was sold out. You barely got tickets.
I had to scalp tickets.
You can
on the
see you were in the
aftermarket.
nosebleeds.
Oh,
How was the experience being there in person?
It's phenomenal because I mean, if a ball's hit to left field, a guy gets under the ball and then turns his back and catches it behind his back, or reaches down and catches it between his legs, or he does a full rolling flip and slides to. I mean, it's acrobatic. It's fun for the fans. It's high scoring. It's entertaining. There's show tunes. It's an absolute blast. If you get a chance to see it, check it out online. If you ever get a chance to go see them live, it's well worth the money. Kristen Bell, I'm not sure how she got involved with the Savannah Bananas, but she lent her voice and her fame to ingratiate to an entire audience of the crowd was full of fans and families. It's not just, baseball fans that go see Bananas. My wife couldn't give two rats about a baseball game. She wanted to go to the Savannah Bananas, and every little girl that was in the stands with their families at the Savannah Bananas game who saw Kristen Bell come down and singing the song from Anna in Frozen, they had an absolute blast. All right, folks, when we come back, Charlie Harger is going to join us. He wrote an incredible piece on My Northwest. You're going to want to hear about it.
KIRO Newsradio is honored to bring home one of the nation's top awards in our industry, the prestigious National Edward R. Murrow Award for breaking news coverage. One award is the result of our team's hard work every single day, and none of it would be possible without you. You trust us with important information every time you choose us. Whether you listen over the air, on the KIRO Newsradio app, or you watch us on YouTube, thank you.
Are you looking to buy a house, but like everyone, you're priced out of the Bellevue, Kirkland, and Seattle market? Many buyers have the income, the credit, and the desire to own, but simply don't have the down payment, often at least $75,000 just for a starter home. Hi, I'm Scott Rireka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue with a great opportunity for home buyers. Introducing our Legacy Opportunity Loan. Legacy Group Capital has a select group of 100 new construction, single family, and townhomes in the top Western Washington locations. Acquire a new construction home with no down payment, allowable closing costs paid, and a competitive rate. Yes, that's no down payment and some closing costs paid by Legacy. A wise man once said, the hardest part of winning in real estate is just getting in. And now you can with our Legacy Opportunity Loan. So get in the game.
Limited properties available to qualified Washington borrowers. Learn more about this limited opportunity at LegacyG.com. Legacy Group Capital, LLC, and MLS ID 99045. Visit LegacyG.com for additional program details.
Guys, if your energy is down, your workouts feel harder, and your drive isn't what it used to be, it may not be aging. It could be low testosterone. At Revive Health here in Seattle, the first step is simple: a free testosterone exam and consultation with an experienced medical provider. We'll review your labs, symptoms, and overall health to determine if testosterone therapy could help improve your energy, strength, and performance. And for a limited time, qualified patients can get started with a free month of TRT. Revive has helped over 120,000 men since 2011 improve energy, sleep, mood, and confidence. If something feels off, don't ignore it. Get answers and take control of your health. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit revivehealth.com. Revive Health. Elevate your vibe. Must medically qualify. Terms apply. Contact Revive for full details.
At the end of a long week, Nick and I settle into our hot tub. We look at each other and go, this is the life. There's just something about the end of the week in a hot tub. John Curley here. Seattle Hot Tub knows exactly how it feels. They've got hot tubs and swim spas, cold plunges for just about every single lifestyle. A hot tub for those, quiet weekends. A swim spa in the morning when you want to get a real workout without having to go to the gym. And a cold plunge for invigorating recovery. That's what I want to get. Seattle Hot Tub Company carries American-made products from Marquee and Cow Spas. Different sizes, different features, different price points. There's no games. There's no high-pressure sales pitch. Seattle Hot Tub Company has everything you'll need, from covers, steps, starter chemicals, and local delivery support. And even financing with hot tubs as low as $90 a month. Seattle Hot Tub Company, locally owned and always there. The getaway starts in your own backyard. Find them online at seattlehottub.com.
Hey, how's your money situation? Are you ready for retirement? Well, if you want to know what the pros are doing to make wealth multiply and retire like royalty, then you need to listen to this show, Sound Path Through Retirement, with Ben Koval and Matt Leibarger. Get your money right and tune in every weekend, Saturdays at 10 a.m. and noon on KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio, KIRO FM, and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News.
The judge in New York today gave prosecutors at the Manhattan District Attorney's Office until October 9th to respond to Luigi Mangioni's motion to dismiss his state murder indictment regarding the killing of the healthcare CEO. Democratic Senator Tim Kaine says he will file a war powers resolution aimed at prohibiting U.S. military action against Oman after President Trump threatened to bomb them if they get in the way of U.S. objectives at the Strait of Hormuz. Today at the White House,
No, I don't think they behave very well, but we'd handle them very easily, just like we do other things.
President Trump ordering reduced U.S. participation in joint U.S.-South Korean military exercises that just started, saying they're costly and cause disrespect to North Korea's leader. Two U.S. officials tell ABC News nothing's changed so far with the war games. House Democrats demanding answers from the Trump administration about mineral agreements amid reports that the Trump family could benefit. This is ABC News. Opening statements in Las Vegas for the murder trial of the man accused of killing hip-hop star Tupac Shakur 30 years ago. Dwayne Keffe D. Davis, who used to be a gang leader, is charged. His tell-all book stated that he planned the drive-by and provided the gun. Davis pleads not guilty, saying he lied to sell books. In Las Vegas, ABC's Alex Stone.
This is a moment that many people thought, many of Tupac Shakur's fans thought would never get to this point. I was just talking to a man who showed up here among the fans who have shown up of Shakur, and he said he just wants to know what justice is in this case, and he wants to see what the evidence they've got against Davis is.
ABC's Alex Stone in Las Vegas. In Hawaii, a lot to clean up after Lala. First a hurricane, then a tropical storm, dumping 3 feet of rain on parts of the Big Island, washing away about 100 homes. There are about 250,000 power outages. Chuck Sievertson, ABC News.
A death tied to a Spokane wildfire. That is one story coming up after Nate Connors at the real-time traffic desk.
Thanks, Aaron. This one brought to you by your Seattle Mariners. South Tacoma, we just opened up a couple lanes as well as the on-ramp North 5 and South 56 from this earlier car fire that is now in the Gore Point. Your bumper-to-bumper backup starts near State Route 512. Olympia to Tacoma right now is up to 50 minutes. Now, South 5, we've got that thick looky-loo backup starting just past the Tacoma Dome to the scene. Tacoma to Olympia, a 45-minute commute with Another thick backup heading into downtown Olympia. Here in Seattle, North 5, a little crowded between the West Seattle Bridge past I-90. Another backup approaching the Ship Canal Bridge. About 20 minutes to get through this. South 5 slows from the U District down almost to I-90 now. Close to 25 minutes from Linwood into downtown. Westbound 90, you're heavy heading into the Mount Baker Tunnel over to Rainier Avenue. South 405 has thinned out, but you're still crowded from South Bellevue to the VMAC. Bellevue to South Center down to a half-hour drive. Don't miss fireworks nights all summer, presented by T-Mobile. The next show is August 21st as the Mariners take on the Cubs. Get your tickets at mariners.com/fireworks. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon, I'm Aaron Granillo. Well, they have been in the news a lot recently. Police surveillance cameras, and today rallies against them are taking place in Seattle and Renton. Critics like Kathleen Carson with Seattle Indivisible say they're an invasion of privacy.
They need to be fully disabled, taken down.
More from KIRO News Radio's Tim Holt.
In Seattle, surveillance critics are getting a first-hand look inside the police department's real-time crime center before gathering at City Hall. Later today, opponents will rally outside Renton City Hall beginning at 5 o'clock. Renton has already stopped using its 24 cameras and covered them while city leaders decide whether to keep the system. The company says it has responded to privacy concerns with tighter safeguards, including shorter data retention and lockouts for suspicious searches. Police agencies continue to defend license plate readers as an effective way to track down suspects. Tim Hole, KIRO News Radio.
And in Kent, police say they used an automatic license plate reader over the weekend to catch a man wanted for child rape and sex trafficking. Here's KIRO News Radio's Frank Lindsay.
The system flagged his vehicle Saturday afternoon, and police tracked him to his home where he was arrested. The 50-year-old was wanted by both Thurston and Grays Harbor County authorities. The same Kent officer who got the alert on Saturday and tried to help Thurston County catch him 2 days earlier, but he wasn't home that day. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
Spokane County Sheriff's Office is investigating the first known death tied to the Old Trails fire. 73-year-old Pat Speedy was a hospice patient. Her family says she suffered serious medical complications while she was being wheeled out of a nursing home during a chaotic evacuation. Spokesman Review reports Speedy died about a week later. Investigators say they will determine whether her death could mean additional charges for the suspected arsonist, Aaron Farinacci. More than 200 firefighters are working to keep a wildfire in check near Mount Rainier's Sunrise Visitor Center. Fire Information Officer Larissa Bogardis says the team is making headway.
We've worked really closely with the park on making sure that, we are able to remove that vegetation that could carry fire up to those historic structures, but also, maintain the natural landscape to the greatest extent possible.
The rest of Mount Rainier National Park remains open, but roads and trails near Sunrise are closed until further notice. That fire has burned nearly 170 acres and is 57% contained. Now to your forecast. After some morning clouds, we are seeing mostly sunny skies today, some upper-level haze as well, but air quality still good for most of us. Right now, 72 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
And now, it's time for the Jake and Spike Show on KIRO News Radio. With your hosts, Jake Skorheim and Spike O'Neill.
Welcome back to the Jake and Spike Show. Jake Skorheim taking a day for the family. Charlie Harder's here with us and agreed to stay a little bit later than your morning shift. Hey, up here. Wake up. We appreciate you, Charlie. You had a great piece on My Northwest today about some shoplifters were arrested, and it's a little more than your average. They caught somebody stealing something. Tell us what's going on.
So in Auburn, the Fred Meyer there, which is my Fred Meyer, I live in Auburn, and I've been there hundreds of times. The Auburn Police Department ran a shoplifting emphasis patrol. It was earlier this month. They wound up arresting 5 different people. And when I saw the story, there was just like this wave of different feelings going across me, because This is a location I have seen gone from, all right over the years to, you're constantly seeing shoplifting and crime. And they've got this great staff who works there, and they have to put up with so much. And, I'm where I live is right in between Auburn and Sumner. And the Auburn store used to always be the one I'd go to. But just after years of kind of a decline there
in the general community around the facility. Yeah.
Well,
we feel the same thing up on the Aurora Avenue.
Right.
My local Fred Meyer and Shoreline. I see the same effect.
And so I just go to the Sumner Fred Meyer now. I'm a Fred Meyer shopper, don't get me wrong, but it's Sumner. And it got me to thinking of a bunch of different things. First of all, I have that choice, right? I am able to drive to the Sumner Fred Meyer and not have to deal with what happens at the Auburn Fred Meyer.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't have that choice. They can't afford to go the next town over just because they might want to have a different shopping experience. But I also got to thinking, Spike, for the commentary, 5 people arrested. And instead of being the type of guy saying, rah, rah, just stick it to them, I think this is really 5 opportunities to intervene in people's lives. And so I've written a few different times about this kid. His name is Corey Ratliff. And Corey is in his 20s, and he is a guy who was a prolific shoplifter. He would steal in order to pay for drugs, and he would get high and then need more drugs. So he would steal and pay for drugs, get high. It was a wash, rinse, repeat sort of thing. And one day, just about a year ago now, Corey gets arrested, and he's in jail, and he has they call it a moment of clarity.
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
Corey realizes he doesn't want to live this way anymore. So he reaches out to Andrea Suarez with We Heart Seattle. Within, a day or two, Andrea is able to get him into an inpatient rehab facility, 21 days. And he starts to get clean there, detoxes. And that's when Art Dolan with Battlefield Addiction comes and says, all right, Corey, you're getting involved with us. And so they have the sober living houses. So here's Corey, who's been a shoplifter, a drug addict, and these people wrap their arms around him. They know this is a guy who wants help. And so Art, if you're not familiar with what Battlefield Addiction does, they are a sobriety living facility. And Art is getting Corey involved with fellow people in recovery who live there as well. Every day they go out on a work crew. They do yard cleanup, stuff like that. And so Corey's getting his life back together. A lot of times,
he's got a community of support.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And instead of just kind of warehousing and saying, hey, go ahead, keep using Corey, instead they're like, no, you can't use, and we're also going to have you gain skills. So what's been able to happen with this kid, Corey, is that over the past few months, he's been able to address all of his legal problems. So he's been in trouble with the courts for years. He's been able to address all of those problems because he's sober. Judges are very encouraged to see him like that. He's gotten a job. He's got a girlfriend. What got me thinking of Corey is his mom posted something this weekend. He just bought his first car. Got a driver's license. Just things that were never possible when you're just in the depths of addiction. And what it took, Spike, was this intervention, this shoplifting arrest. The shoplifting arrest was the best thing that could have ever happened to him.
We in recovery call that hitting bottom.
Yeah.
And he'd been there before.
Yes.
With regard to arrests.
Yes.
But it wasn't that moment of, like you said, the moment of clarity where he realized he was sick and tired of being sick and tired, and he'd hit his bottom.
And so look at this kid. His life has turned around. And so you have these 5 people who get arrested. And I note in the commentary, a lot of people are like, oh, you are just a simp for multi-billion-dollar corporations. These are poor people just trying to get by. You should allow them to shoplift, and it's really them you should be worried about, and not Kroger, the parent company of Fred Meyer. To which I say, no way, because We're not addressing the issue. You know, when you have a lot of shoplifting, that drives the prices up, right?
Sure, you bet.
And so who does that drive the prices up for? Well, the poor. And by and large, the poor are not going out and stealing. They're just suffering because a small minority of people are stealing. And if we're able to address 5 different people, if we're able to at least intervene and 5 different people, you know it almost certainly won't happen, but there's always a chance these 5 different people have a moment of clarity. They're in jail and realize this is not the way I want to live.
So, you know, your story hit home for me because my local Fred Meyer is plagued with shoplifting.
Yeah.
There's a security guard at the door every day. Every day you walk out, you have to show your receipt to a security guard at the door. But they're also, they're police, emphasis patrols.
Yeah.
Also on that parking lot. And there's really not much the store can do other than their very best, put somebody in front of the store, keep theft down to a minimum. But this retail theft, you're right, it's the loss of inventory that the store, plus the additional cost of security. The stores have to pass these costs on to you, me, and everybody else who shops there.
Yes.
And we're the ones who feel it. You talked about the case of Corey with Andrea Suarez of We Heart Seattle reaching out and, lending a hand to somebody. That seems like such a common sense. Why doesn't every case get this type of, are you ready for help? Problem is not all addicts are ready for help.
Yeah.
And this is a case where the guy his job was shoplifting to feed his addiction. That was his job.
But Spike, we make it so comfortable for people who are in the depths of addiction.
Yeah, but
they don't have the discomfort, particularly endemic to California, Oregon, Washington State. It doesn't happen like this across much of the country. If you can make it, I certainly am not saying just completely throw them to the wolves, but the discomfort of getting arrested, the discomfort of
the
not being
door
allowed
jail.
to use.
Yeah.
That is something, if you have that discomfort, it helps bring you to that moment of clarity, I think, a lot sooner than handing them the supply for drugs. Putting them in a housing unit where a dealer lives next door. That is not discomfort. That is prolonging and warehousing people and not helping them get their lives back.
Is the scale of the problem make this practical sense solution you talk about, which I agree with you on? Does the scale of the problem of homelessness, drug addiction, make it a pipe dream that this could actually work large scale, or do we chip at it piece by piece by piece?
I've talked about it multiple times with people, and if every single person on the streets right now who is addicted to drugs, it would overwhelm the system. But we know that's not going to happen. But if several people today, several people in the coming weeks, you start to chip away at the problem. I have spoken to multiple people, and by the way, you I'm certain have family members who are desperate right now because they're hearing about their child who is trapped in the cycle of addiction on the streets. But I have spoken to so many people saying anybody who wants to get into rehab can get into rehab today. We can find you a spot today. This is not like some magical thing where they're all overwhelmed. But you have to go into a rehab where it's sobriety first, and that's uncomfortable for a lot of people.
That's a top-down problem with the city's perspective.
Yeah, because they won't consider sobriety first.
Is it still the case where you can't tell someone who's being arrested from addiction, you can't talk to them about sobriety or rehabilitation?
Social workers from the county government, time and time again, tell me they are not able to tell. Let's say somebody goes into permanent supportive housing. Unless the person suffering from addiction proactively asks for help with their addiction, you're not going to hear from the workers, hey, man, you look like you need help. Hey, maybe you shouldn't use, and maybe we can get you into rehab.
If I could get you today into a bed, into a
right.
safe place.
Now,
is that because it's often faith-based? Is that what the prohibited?
No, to a certain extent, I think there are some faith-based. You think of the Union Gospel Mission,
exactly.
which, by the way, has availability right now for you to go and get treatment. But instead, what the model is under the harm reduction. They're trying to. The words here is meet people where they are. And when you meet somebody where they are, you don't want to be judgmental or hurt their feelings.
No, I'm a proponent of the harm reduction policies because I see the benefit of them. I know it comes with risk of prolonging their addictions. You're enabling their addictions to go further. You're right. We're looking at the secondary of effects of needle sharing and things like that. I understand the logic behind giving clean supplies to people who aren't ready to become clean themselves.
I would encourage you to speak to family members who have their loved ones on the streets right now and are having their addictions enabled by the government, and they're begging lawmakers for leaders to say enough of this. Don't give him the needles. Don't give him the foil. Don't give them the smoking supplies. And that's what we're doing. And when you speak to family members, their child's been out there, 5, 6, 7 years. They're lost. They're struggling. That is something that, for me, Spike, really changed my way of thinking, hearing from them directly. Because if it was a child in your home and they're in the basement, they're actively using, is that something where you just go, okay, well, I'm going to just bring my kid the foil, the needles, the supplies?
Well, I don't know if that's
but what I'm saying is, or are you as dad doing everything in your power to make your kid stop? And if that's the case, why are we approaching it this way by giving them the supplies and, de facto encouraging it, moving them in next to dealers and just letting
I'm with you on that part.
Warehouse for years, for decades, with no clear plan to get them on a path to sobriety and getting their lives back.
Have you heard the story of San Francisco? The mayor of San Francisco,
Daniel Lurie. Look at the
success that he's having.
Complete transition from where they were because they rejected
it's more stick and less carrot.
Yeah.
It's you're right. It's nothing humane about letting someone rot on the streets and suffer repeatedly. I mean, I see what secondary caused health risks of shared paraphernalia. In that regard, I can see the logic behind the risk harm reduction policies. But when you put it about, you're right. It's enabling someone to keep going down the darkest path of their life.
This is not me being a prude or condemning anyone. This is me wanting somebody to be able to live the fullest life they can. And we're one of the only states that does this, that just completely ignores the recovery aspect until somebody asks for it. It feels nice. It feels like, we're a society that is more enlightened. But what we're doing is we're prolonging their suffering. We got to get these people better. We've got to be better at addressing mental health. So many of these mental health challenges are people people addicted to drugs trying to treat their mental health. We need to have stronger mental health, better mental health. We need to have better and stronger addiction services, helping people, getting them clean, and helping them contribute to society.
Can we start with the King County Regional Homelessness Authority? Mm-hmm. Do you think that the audit that they're going through now, the reorganization they're looking at doing, as opposed to just gutting and forgetting the entire process? I mean, Pierce County is announcing their approach to a regional solution to their homeless situation, and it deals with addiction, it deals with mental health crisis as well. Is it worth saving King County, in your opinion, worth saving the King County Regional Homeless Authority?
I've been a reporter and a news anchor for more than 2 decades, Spike, and it was more than 20 years ago I first reported on King County's 10-year plan to end homelessness. The homeless population today is the biggest it's ever been. The open drug use is the biggest it's ever been. The mental crisis for people is the biggest it's ever been. And so we've spent over 20 years, tens of billions of dollars throwing at this problem. And it is demonstrably worse in every category. And now they're asking, okay, well, let's do an audit. Let's see what we've done. It has clearly not worked. I mean, if you keep doing something over and over again, I mean, it's a cliche.
But is it the processes and the
We've dug in on this harm reduction model. We have absolutely dug in and have not considered, maybe we need to take the approach that San Francisco is taking. Maybe we need to take the approach that other cities are taking. when you take that approach, maybe you find a place that has had success, not just some feel-good guy who makes a great TED Talk about what he's observed about addiction. Instead, find out what's actually working.
It's a lot to chew on. And it all started with 5 people getting arrested at your local Fred Meyer, and somebody who hit bottom was offered help from somebody who cares, from
Henry.
Yeah, and it worked for him. It doesn't often work for somebody like that.
Nope.
They often, keep going back to the streets, keep going back to their addictions because, like you said, we're making it too easy to fight to follow your addiction down a rabbit hole, down a dark place. Thanks for the story. Thanks for the time today. Appreciate your looking into this and always caring about it.
Appreciate it, Spike.
Charlie Harger, everybody. Thanks for sticking around. We appreciate you. We'd like to know what you think about this topic, about harm reduction. Muckleshoot Casino Resort text line. Still time to get in for last call today. 888-973-5476. Charlie lays out a very well-founded argument regarding what harm reduction services and enabling addicts to keep using, how that keeps prolonging their sickness and their addiction, their crisis. But you look at I keep going back to the fact, I looked at the scientific numbers of secondary effects of drug use, intravenous drug use particularly, with regard to hepatitis or AIDS transmission, dirty needle exchange, things like that. There's a reason so many cities have harm reduction policies. They've worked internationally. They've been proven internationally.
It's a public health concern is what it comes down to for me. I don't want there to be more bloodborne diseases in our community. And I also, you want to help an addict, but you want to have them be alive long enough to get help. And clean needles are part of that calculation, unfortunately.
It is. It's a very difficult question to ask. I mean, there are experts in their field. I mean, Charlie's point about this city using a low barrier entry to housing assistance, and you have public housing situations where you've got families who are trying to just make ends meet and survive and grow, living next to someone who's fighting addiction or allowed to use drugs in their residence that's provided and paid for by our tax dollars. It's hard to argue for that type of model as well. Somewhere in the middle of all this is a system that's humane but practical. Again, we point to the mayor of San Francisco, who has found a way to hold those experiencing homelessness more accountable. If they don't want to live on the streets or if they don't want to give up their addiction and continue living on the streets, if you're going to infringe upon public safety and public values, they're going to put you in jail. The system in San Francisco seems to be working. What we're doing up here, we just keep doing the same thing and expecting different results. It's the definition of insanity. All right, when we come back, we're going to have a story about tradition, about couples getting married, and about 4 times out of 5, 80% of the people, the wife in a traditional marriage will take the husband's name. That's not always the case, and one couple has a very, very interesting and unique solution to that age-old question. We'll have it when we come back. It's the Jake and Spike Show. Don't go anywhere.
This hour is brought to you by Davis Law Group.
I've lived here almost my entire life.
Seattle's morning news host, Charlie Harger.
I love Seattle. I love that I'm able to raise my children here.
Hear Charlie's 7:35 commentary every morning on Seattle's morning news.
So when I see something that I think might need some attention, that's me pointing out areas of improvement. That is not me saying that Seattle is somehow bad.
You can watch all of Charlie's commentaries anytime on the KIRO Newsradio YouTube channel.
I like it hot.
Beg your pardon?
Can you make it hot for me, Dan?
I think so.
Half heated ain't hot enough.
No.
That's why I called you.
Apollo Plumbing.
Yeah, my sorry old water heater.
Oh.
Ain't getting me the hots anymore.
You want hot water.
That's what I said.
That's what we do at Apollo Plumbing.
And you're ready?
Right now.
When can you?
How about today?
Same day?
We'll have you in hot water tonight.
Clever. How about an upgrade?
A tankless water heater would mean endless hot water.
Now you're cooking.
That's just for starters.
Starters?
How about we make it a worry-free water heater?
Worry-free?
Wrenchie's worry-free warranty.
Which covers?
Repair, service, all included.
And when it wears out?
Apollo replaces it.
No extra charge?
Nothing.
Nil?
Nada. As an Apollo A-list member, you're covered.
And payments?
To fit your budget with approved credit, of course.
And I'm hot again.
Worry-free.
That's Works for me.
We're on our way.
Thanks for making it hot.
We're ApolloPlumbing.com.
It's Jonathan here from DUI Heroes, and I'm here today with a teenager who's just about to get her driver's license, and she's got some questions for me about driving, alcohol, and how to not end up in my office.
Is it okay for teens to drink, even if they don't get drunk and drive?
So in this state, the legal drinking age is 21. It's never a good idea for anybody under the age of 21 to be consuming alcohol in any circumstance. But it's even more dangerous if then you make the decision to get behind the wheel. And most people don't know that when it comes to DUIs, everybody thinks the limit is 0.08, but not if you're under 21. If you're under 21, the limit is 0.02, which means you could find yourself at 0.02, 0.03 with a DUI sitting in my office when you're not drunk, but because you drank before you were able to. That was a great question. And if you or any of your friends find yourselves this summer in contact with law enforcement, please give us a call at 1-800-DUI-HERO or online at DUIHeroes.com.
Get any size high-efficiency AC for just $179.99 a month with zero upfront costs. CM Heating's Comfort as a Service includes lifetime repairs and annual maintenance at no extra charge. Book your free estimate at cmheating.com today.
License number CMHEAHL 751LW.
Sometimes injuries can happen when you least expect them.
What broke my shoulder was reaching for my phone. I was trying to get the phone away from my cat.
That's how Heather tore her rotator cuff.
There was that hope. I was like, maybe this will heal on its own. And I waited a little bit, and it was not getting better.
She just couldn't take the pain anymore, so she saw Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
By the next day, my shoulder was already doing better. I have my arm back again, which was just wonderful.
Seems like she made the right choice.
I'm so glad I didn't do surgery.
So whether it's a hip like mine or a shoulder, elbow, ankle, wrist, or knee, before choosing surgery, see Dr. Mark Wagner first. He's the most experienced in the Northwest with over 20,000 stem cell procedures. Go to drmarkwagnermd.com.
I said to him at our last appointment, I was like, you better not retire because I want to know if anything else goes wrong with my body. You're there to be able to fix it because he's a miracle worker.
This is for all you guys on Viagra. ED pills are no longer needed. The brutal side effects like 4-hour headaches, blurred vision, and that flush feeling can all be put behind you with our treatment. Here at West Coast Men's Health, we have a better approach to ED. Acoustic wave therapy creates blood flow circulation by safely removing the plaque in your arteries and restoring function naturally. Guys, let me be clear. Pills will never fix your problem. Our equipment is the latest technology, and our medical staff is the best in the industry. So give West Coast Men's Health a call today. Speak with our clinic manager. Ask him any question you like, how it works, the science behind it, and even the cost. If you suffer from ED or Peyronie's disease, give West Coast Men's Health a call today.
In addition to treating ED and Peyronie's disease, we now offer testosterone replacement therapy. With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Spike O'Neill here for Ageless Living. Recently, my aunt had surgery, and she was home the next day. But we weren't sure if we were ready or equipped to give the kind of care that she needed, so we called Ageless Living and asked about respite care, a short-term stay that provides 24/7 expert care, Ageless Living amenities, and peace of mind for you and your family. Go to agelessliving.com/spike and schedule a visit. It can be a much-needed break for a caregiver and a chance for you and your family to get a look and a taste of what Ageless Living offers. That's agelessliving.com/spike.
Holy smokes!
The On Cruise Adventures Rick Riz Show.
What happened at the ballpark yesterday?
Sparky's sitting on my scorebook here, my cat.
Friday mornings at 8:15 on Seattle's Morning News.
Looking for the best deal on a new home? Discover the D.R. Horton Home of the Week. With new home communities from Lacey to Stanwood, D.R. Horton has the right home for the best value. Visit drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon, I'm Aaron Granillo. Seattle police today are describing a barrage of gunfire in Pioneer Square. It happened early Sunday. KIRO News Radio's James Lynch has the details.
The shooting happened about 1:30 Sunday morning and is believed to have started inside a nearby bar and spilled onto the street at 1st and King Street. Responding officers found an active fight on the street, and they say more than 30 rounds were fired by multiple shooters, hitting cars and businesses. Here's SPD Sergeant Patrick Mouchot.
We did end up finding a gun in the area from somebody who dropped it or ran off. Suspect information was very limited, and there were no victims found at the scene.
One man later showed up at Harborview with a non-life-threatening gunshot wound. So far, no arrests have been made. James Lynch, KIRO Newsradio.
An Olalla woman was hospitalized yesterday after she crashed her car into a Kitsap County ditch. The sheriff's office says her blood alcohol was 0.4. That is 5 times Washington's legal limits. Prosecutor's office is reviewing the case for charges. No other cars were involved in that crash on Long Lake Road. A hunger strike continues at Tacoma's Northwest Ice Processing Center, with activists saying about 140 detainees are refusing food to protest conditions. KIRO 7 TV's Jack Bilyeu reports.
U.S. Representatives Emily Randall of Washington and Maxine Dexter of Oregon toured the facility to find out more. They say they were allowed to see the kitchen, but not the medical bay. They reportedly spoke to a detainee who's part of the hunger strike, but were shown paperwork that no detainees in a different housing block refused meals.
Contractor that runs the facility released a statement, the GEO group, saying it strongly refutes these allegations. The Seahawks locked down one of their biggest stars. 3-time Pro Bowl cornerback Devin Witherspoon has signed a 4-year extension with Seattle, keeping him here for the next 6 seasons. General Manager John Schneider tells Seattle Sports 710.
Well, it's a win-win. It's a great deal for Spoon. It's a great deal for the organization. He'll be with us for the next 6 years now, next 6 seasons. And he's such a great guy, such a high-end competitor.
The deal is worth $132 million, making Witherspoon the highest-paid cornerback in NFL history. The Hawks drafted him with the 5th overall pick in 2023. Time now to go to the real-time traffic desk at 2:34 with Nate Connors.
All right, Aaron, this one brought to you by Seattle Sports. Let's start you down in Olympia, South 5 at Capitol Boulevard. A collision was blocking your left lane. It's over in the Gore Point now near the exit, but debris is still in that left lane, causing drivers to swerve around it. So we've got a thick backup approaching Pacific Avenue, about a 2.5 mile backup. Tacoma to Olympia, plan on a 45-minute trip, a 10-minute delay. Now going the other way, Olympia to Tacoma, just under 40 minutes with a residual backup through South Tacoma from our earlier car fire at South 56. Southbound 167 is filled in from State Route 18 into Sumner. Here in Seattle, North 5, scattered backups on the West Seattle Bridge of the Ship Canal. Got a nice clear patch through the heart of downtown, 20 minutes to clear this. South 5 heavy from Ravenna to I-90. Bellevue to South Center on 405 is up to half hour, and Everett to Marysville, a 15-minute drive. You can always listen to your favorite local sports content on the FM dial on 97.3 HD2. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Mostly sunny skies for this afternoon. Come tomorrow, we'll see some morning clouds and a bit more cloudy conditions for the next couple of days, but temperatures will be nice, mid-70s for Tuesday and Wednesday, 80 on Thursday. Right now, 74 degrees and sunny in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Welcome back to the Jake and Spike Show. I'm Spike O'Neill. Jake Skorheim took the day today to spend time with his family. We'll be back tomorrow for you. Laura Scott and I are doing the show today. Laura's a single lady, right? You're a single lady. You didn't get married last weekend, did you?
I did not.
I didn't ask what you did this weekend. You didn't get married.
How amazing would that have been?
Right?
I would not be here. You wouldn't see me for a month.
Well, let me ask you this, and I hope you don't mind me prying.
Sure.
If and when you decide that, marriage is the thing for you, you meet that certain someone, will you be a traditional take your husband's name, if indeed it's I don't mean pry or assume anything. Are you from a traditional family where the husband's name becomes the name of the married couple?
My mom took my dad's name, but then they got divorced, so she went back to her maiden name.
Did she revert to her maiden name? Okay.
And I had an opportunity when they got divorced to go with her last name or my dad's. I
Really?
could choose. Yeah.
How old were you at the time, if you don't mind?
Well, 12, 13.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
So you had, you know what you're talking about at that point.
Yeah, enough. Honestly, and this is still my answer for this, it just depends whose last name is cooler. That's really what it comes down to, and I wish I had a more sophisticated answer.
That's about as honest and authentic as you could possibly ask for.
If you can beat Scott as a last name, I'm intrigued. Let's talk about it.
Blinkenheim and Schnatter didn't really, right?
Yeah, I just liked the sound of Laura Scott better than Laura Neal. And that's what it came down to.
You know, it's funny. I hadn't thought about this, and I didn't think about it when we got to the story. We tell you the story because today in the Wall Street Journal, there's a story of a couple who, at their wedding reception, during the groom's toast, he announced that the wedding party would be taking part, both families side by side, would be taking part in a sort of Olympic competition of various games the newlywed couple had put together. And the winner of those two families in the Olympic Games at the wedding reception would be what the children of the couple's last names would be. It was the Flemings versus the Schifferleys. And the father of the groom was like, is he kidding? Is he serious? You're going to put our grandkids' namesake
on a three-legged sack race?
On a three-legged race, right? On a scavenger hunt for bar napkins? But the story is pretty interesting. That couples face this dilemma these days. Only 80% of couples use the traditional method of taking the family's name, the husband's name, I should say. My daughter got married last year, took her new husband's name. You know, you mentioned the divorce, and I hadn't thought about this at all, but when my mom got remarried, my parents were divorced when I was pretty young, and my mom remarried, and we were asked at the time, and we were only about, I want to say 7 and 8, my brother and I, when my mom remarried, if we would like to take my new stepdad's name or keep our name O'Neill. His last name's Eichelberger.
Good luck spelling that.
That's why we picked O'Neill. I mean, it was, to your point about it was a cooler name. My brother and I both picked the O'Neill name because my dad he was still around then. He passed away relatively soon after that. My biological father passed away. And we were raised by my stepdad, and he's always been my dad. He's a great guy, Eichelberger. But I was pretty close. I mean, I'm glad I was given a choice. I could have been an Eichelberger. I'd be Spike Ike today. It'd be terrible.
Hey, that kind of would have worked.
I don't know. I'm glad I'm an O'Neill. But it's funny because my brother, you carry. There's this theory of thinking that you carry on the family name, and if you are a woman who's the last of your family name and you get married, I can see there'd be a tremendous desire to not just give up the family name, have the lineage die essentially with you because there was no sons in the family and it's the last of your family line. And that's why 80% of couples take the traditional husband's last name. Many couples hyphen those two names.
Yeah, how do you feel about the combining, like making a new name or hyphenating? 'Cause my thing is you can't hyphenate forever. Like at what point, just one generation later, you've got a quadruple hyphen.
Yeah, that
right?
presents its own set of problems. It's funny that I guess tradition is, over time, it becomes less and less important. Nowadays there are the legal possibility of same-sex couples, and they're not tied into this traditional. They get to decide if one of the two names they like better. They probably go with your theory. Which name sounds cooler?
I had 2 friends get married this summer, actually both couples in May. It was like back-to-back weekends, which was very stressful for me. And neither of them have decided yet. Like they fully got married, but they haven't had kids yet. They were like, well, we're just going to kick that can down the road. Like maybe not. They're not sure. Now they just have their same last names they did before.
I guess there's no legal requirement to make a decision.
No.
If you get married and your legal name is, we find out we hear so many stories currently about the proposed SAVE Act that President Trump's administration is trying to push through Congress. And it's a voter ID act. It's a citizenship verification act. It's purported intent. I don't want to get into this rabbit hole. Its purported intent is to eliminate fraudulent illegal immigrant voting, which is pretty much a solution in search of a real problem because it factually doesn't exist beyond 0.007 of a 1 percentage point, but that's neither here nor there. But the issue there is that married women don't have matching birth certificates to their married name and have to then, find documentation and go through a series of difficult tasks sometimes, oftentimes impossible tasks, inconvenient to say the least, time and cost-consuming tasks of finding verification for their last name. And if you don't buy into the traditional take the husband's last name, that's not a problem. So it affects a lot of people differently. I guess I never really thought about, I was very lucky that Melissa, my lovely bride, decided to take our family's last name.
Was it a question at all?
No.
For you guys?
No.
Yeah. And now I feel like it's a question every time. And it's something that I sort of have found myself cautiously asking couples. Like I would never assume these days that someone is going to take their husband's last name. Or we had a bachelorette party for my friend who got married in May. And I was like, do I put like future Mrs., what on all of the, I was making little temporary tattoos for us and, like weekend itineraries. And I was like, I just don't know what the vibe is. I don't know if that'd be funny or not relevant.
Isn't it great, though, that people get to choose now?
I do think
it's completely up to the couple now.
The idea of doing a game at your wedding actually sounds really fun to me.
It does.
It's a good way to bond family members.
Unless the Flemings really do not want their grandchildren to be named Schifferles.
Well, what I liked the most,
tooth and nail.
what they're fighting for is not necessarily the name, but the right to choose. So you could be a really good sport and despite winning, gift the name to the other side of the family. I feel like that would be the nice thing to do.
I've got our next door neighbors, dear friends, lovely couple. They traditionally, I hadn't even thought about it, but they kept their last names. The husband and wife kept their last names. The children are the last name of the father, but the mom had kept her last name. But they are known to the entire community as a hybrid of those two names. It was, I hope they don't mind, Phelps and Sanchez. They're the Fanchezes.
It kind of works.
Everybody knows Mr. Fanchez. It's great. It really does work. So, hey, folks, to each their own. Tradition's great if you want it. If not, blaze your own path. It's a brave new world, and call yourself whatever you love, whatever you like. All right, when we come back, we're going to have last call, your text of the day. We got responses to every single topic we brought up today. I imagine this would be no different. Still time. Muckleshoot Casino Resort text line 888-973-5476. We'll have your part of the show coming up next. Don't go anywhere.
I've lived here almost my entire life.
Seattle's morning news host, Charlie Harger.
I love Seattle. I love that I'm able to raise my children here.
Hear Charlie's 7:35 commentary every morning on Seattle's morning news.
So when I see something that I think might need some attention, that's me pointing out areas of improvement. That is not me saying that Seattle is somehow bad.
You can watch all of Charlie's commentaries anytime on the KIRO Newsradio YouTube channel.
Man, I love this place. I've been surfing here since I was a kid. Now, seeing my grandson out on the water, it means everything to me. Watching him and taking in the blue waves, the sea breeze, the blurry horizon.
If you have geographic atrophy, or GA, subtle changes in vision could mean it's progressing toward irreversible vision loss. Izervay is proven to slow GA progression and could help preserve your vision for longer, so you may keep seeing the world around you. Izervay, or avacincaptad pegol, is an eye injection. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may cause blood in the white of the eye, blurred vision, or a temporary increase in eye pressure. Do not drive or use machinery until vision has recovered after an eye injection or exam. Ask your retina specialist how you can slow your GA with Izervay. To learn more, call 1-855-IZERVAY or go to izervay.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
Not all roofs are created equal, and not all warranties are either. This is Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. Right now, take advantage of free lifetime Golden Pledge warranties on all GAF shingle installations and save up to $3,000 or choose 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest up to 24 months. Summertime savings won't last forever. Protect your home with a roof you can count on for decades. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today. Held to a higher standard since 1968.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 877-CARS-4-KIDS to speak to a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Go to carsforkids.org now or call 877-CARS-4-KIDS to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K.
Hello, sweltering Seattle. John Curley here. Is your home staying cool? Are you losing sleep because it's just too hot? At Home Comfort Alliance, the goal is not to sell you a new system. It's to fix the one that you have. Repair first, replace only if it truly makes sense, saving you time and money. If your system's done, a heat pump gives you both cooling and heating for year-round comfort. Get real pricing in 60 seconds at HomeComfortAlliance.com. Call the comfort people. Home Comfort Alliance.
I want a woman. I want a big girl.
See the hysterical Gabriel Fluffy Iglesias when he takes the stage at Muckleshoot Casino Resort, Saturday, August 29th at 5:30 and 9:30 p.m.
This way, we both can agree on the temperature of the thermostat.
He's sold out stadiums around the world, and now he's coming to Muckleshoot Casino Resort on August 29th. Get tickets before they're gone to laugh out loud with Gabriel Iglesias at muckleshootcasino.com.
Everyone always asks me, what were your top reasons for choosing Advanced Hair? Well, allow me to share, along with some details, on, get this, their once-a-year summer savings event. Okay, first off, Advanced Hair stands by the results, and I'm living proof those results are second to none. With Advanced Hair, your own natural hair is guaranteed to grow. Secondly, Advanced Hair combines top-rated physicians with modern technology, creating a concierge quality experience that blew away my expectations. And lastly, Advanced Hair's Advanced FUE begins regrowing your own natural hair the very next day. It is quick, simple, and easy. Now, if you have a flexible schedule this summer and you've been waiting for that special savings opportunity, well, it's here. Advanced Hair's Summer Savings Event will get you the most hair for your dollar. It's their best offer ever. For details, to schedule your free consultation, call 425-449-8185. One-day treatment, life-changing results. Your new hair is guaranteed to grow. Before and after pictures at advancedhair.com.
Paid political announcement.
Hey, Seattle, did you know your groceries could be getting more expensive? Seattle City Hall is considering an ordinance that could put grocery rewards and coupons on the chopping block. The mayor's proposed fair pricing ordinance could have the exact opposite outcome and make everyday living more expensive. Protect Seattle Savings is a coalition dedicated to defending the everyday savings that Seattle families rely on. Visit ProtectSeattleSavings.com to learn more and join the cause.
Paid for by Protect Seattle Savings.
For the ones who get it done, Grainger offers the professional-grade products you need, delivered when and where you need them. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by.
Guys, your testosterone level impacts your energy, drive, weight, hair loss, and even ED. Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your T level for free. For your free T level check, exam, and consultation, call 206-529-1111 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Your old water heater's starting to peter.
DayandNight.net. Day and Night has $150 off installation of any new water heater, including tankless, backed by a free lifetime warranty.
Hi, I'm Bruce. When your old water heater leaks or fails, the damage could be catastrophic. Whether you need an emergency replacement or you're planning ahead before it leaks, give us a call and we'll help you get into hot water again.
Get $150 off installation of any new water heater.
DayandNight.net. Welcome back to the Jake and Spike Show. It's last call. Time for us to take a look at your input into the show, the various topics that we covered today. Lots of folks had input on the food vendors outside the stadiums and up and down Aurora Avenue and all over the city, and the fact that they're not licensed and they're not permitted and sometimes they're not safe. Boy, we got tons of folks on this. 307 says, if only there was some kind of camera system where we could watch these illegal food trucks. I get what you did there. That's good. Yeah, it's good.
Brian from Arlington says, I've worked in too many kitchens. I need to be able to see what they're up to back there. I care more about what I can see the cooks doing than the health department certification. If they're selling pre-wrapped stuff out of a cooler, hard no. I don't care how good the lunch special is.
Stephen in Stanwood says, honestly, how are we going to find something like this? And he included a picture of a fresh mango and watermelon with tahini on it. It looks gorgeous. When you travel, you never eat street vendors. That's one thing they warn you about. Don't do that. Bureaucracy and food costs are so high at a restaurant, and these vendors have lower costs. They're just trying to make a wage also. I'm stuck, but this fruit package is legit, and I can't find it anywhere but the streets.
All right. And then on Jack in the Box and other fast food chains closing restaurants locally, Brad the Painter says, if not for the 2 for $1 Jack in the Box tacos, in quotation marks, I would have perished in the early 90s.
253 says Jack in the Box has the best cheesecake, and I'm not kidding. We were mocking on the cheesecake, but this guy says it's great stuff.
Listen, we should try some.
Yeah, maybe we will. Yeah.
Doug in Mount Vernon says marketing changes for fast restaurants are necessary because food price increases make that dining experience like a fast casual restaurant, just without the quality.
Not wrong. Don and Lacey, who foresaw restaurant food prices increasing when minimum wage doubled or tripled? Yeah, they're all factors. It can't be denied.
And we got a lot of people saying you can still find sit-down Pizza Huts here, and even the lunch buffets. So 206 says there's a Pizza Hut buffet in Everett. Steve from Enumclaw says Enumclaw still has a lunch buffet. Laura in Pierce County, there's a sit-down Pizza Hut in downtown Puyallup, not far from Pioneer Park, over there by Meeker Mansion, the railroad tracks.
Okay, thank you all for the tips. I know what I'm doing tonight. On Tacoma's influx of rescue cats, Kirk in Mount Vernon says, coming home and knowing you have a heartbeat in your house is very comforting.
I couldn't have put it better. Mike in Bothell says, donate items to Bella's Voice Thrift Store. They keep people and pets together.
Nice. Greg from Salties. Scooter and the Big Man are both rescues. Oh, I love this cat. Yes. Best call I ever made. My friend Kathleen runs Community Cat Coalition, a TNR operation for feral kitties up in Mukilteo. These guys are twins, 2 out of a litter of 6. When the CCC crews find a new litter in the world, they spay the mom and foster, fix, and find homes for the kittens. That's great. Their whole litter was named after musicians. After seeing them always sleeping next to eeach other, I renamed them Bruce Springsteen and Clarence Clemens, Scooter and the Big Man. Thanks. Oh.
And then on the USS Abraham Lincoln, Julie B says, this sounds horrible, too much for anybody.
Joshua in Clay Elm. My cousin was an officer on aircraft carriers for many years, and he said that every trip there are at least 1 or 2 attempts to jump overboard. Unfortunately, they never get reported. It's impressive that they have the mission capability to stay on post for almost a year. It shows incredible naval superiority.
Dave says this is what they signed up for, this is why they signed on the dotted line, and this is why not everybody can join the military or be in the military. I do support them, but I'm not going to sit here and coddle them. We need our servicemen and women to be strong. They are protecting us and our families.
Thanks. Joe in Bremerton says, I can speak for the stress of serving on a carrier. I served in the Navy on a carrier in the mid-90s. I did a Westpac and did a tour in the Persian Gulf. You not only have a day job, you have to stand watch and do so many drills. The food sucks, no good air. You sleep with many in tight quarters. It's so sad that my fellow Navy personnel,
Kevin in Seattle says, spot on, Spike. Part of supporting the troops is actually, wait for it, supporting the troops. Once again, the draft dodger in chief doesn't know and doesn't care.
757 says, currently I work directly with the Lincoln, so I have firsthand knowledge of what is happening day to day on there. The distance from allies to get supplies to them is a lot greater than what it was prior, so it does take longer to get them what their needed supplies, but they have been supplied back up. The hardest part for my 30-year career was the unknown, the mental strain of when are we going home. Folks, thank you so much for all the input. Thank you all for your feedback on the stories. Thanks for you, those who served and shared your experiences with us. Coming up next, it's Mike Lewis and Angelo Perussell in for John Curley. The John Curley Show is next. Don't go anywhere. See you then.
Dear Ursula, I have a group of friends who have bonded over...
Hi, I'm Ursula Boyteen from the G and Ursula Show, and I'm launching a new podcast called Ask Ursula. This is your space. Real life, real questions, whether it's about family, friendships, love, and yes, even the fun stuff like travel and finding your signature scent. Hit me up and ask your questions at mynorthwest.com/Ursula. I look forward to connecting with you.
At mynorthwest.com and the G and Ursula YouTube channel.
Every jersey tells a story.
So many people dressed in Seahawk blue.
From unforgettable touchdowns.
Touchdown, Seahawks! Jackson Smith-Njigba, Johnny on the spot.
To game-changing hits.
He gets hit again. Leonard Williams drags him down.
To memorable catches.
Jordan drops back to pass in the end zone to Largent. Touchdown, Seahawks!
History lives in every thread. Shop official Seahawks jerseys in-store at Lumen Field, The Landing in Renton, or online at Seahawks.com/ProShop.
My name is Jeff. I live in Northern California, and I am 65 years old, actually 65 and a half as of 2 days ago. I've been practicing medicine for 37 years. People have this impression that doctors know insurance, that they understand insurance. Let me assure you they do not. Medicare is complex. It's really complex, and the government did not make it easy to understand. Chapter really helps you understand it. They talked me through what my options were, and then they helped me tailor-make a plan. One of the things that really impressed me with Chapter was the human touch element of it. I was not talking to an AI agent. I was talking to a real person who answered my questions. And not only that, but they remembered the particulars from our last conversation. They really weren't just being a representative, that they actually cared about me as a person. And that sounds cliche, but it makes all the difference in the world.
To learn more about how you can get free personalized Medicare advice, visit chapter.com today. Again, that's chapter.com.
Are you in pain? Have you considered surgery or even joint replacement? Hi, everybody. It's John Curley. Before you make that decision, I recommend you see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. I did, and it's been a game changer. My doctor took a look at my x-rays and said, well, looks like you need a whole new hip. And then he said, wait, how old are you? And I told him, and then he said, well, wait, you're too young for a hip. You're just going to have to, live with the pain. We'll see you in 3 years. It was horrible. Dr. Wagner is a board-certified Seattle physician with over 30 years of experience performing more than 20,000 stem cell procedures, using a person's own stem cells to regenerate cartilage in their own joints. People with severe osteoarthritis, even bone on bone, are back doing what they enjoy doing without pain and without surgery. So whether it's a hip like I had, or a shoulder, elbow, ankle, wrist, or knee, before choosing surgery, see Dr. Mark Wagner first. Go to drmarkwagnermd.com.
At Carrier, we know that a comfortable home is a happy one. Whether it's with innovative breakthroughs in heating and cooling efficiency, or with different ways to control your home's temperature and air quality, we're always imagining new ways to make your home totally comfortable.
Turn to the experts and let your local Carrier heating and cooling dealer improve your home's comfort and efficiency. Visit CarrierNorthwest.com to find an expert near you. Carrier, turn to the experts.
Let me ask you something. Would you ever buy a hot tub from one of those pop-up places in a parking lot? You go in, you buy the hot tub, you come back 6 months later when it needs service, and you're like, hello, anybody here? Sure, the parking lot's still there, but where are they? Not with Seattle Hot Tub Company. John Curley here. They do things differently. They're local. They've had the showroom for years. They've got a delivery crew. They've got their own service team. Hot tubs, swim spas, cold plunges. That's all they do every day. You get warehouse pricing, easy financing. Imagine a hot tub for as low as $90 a month. They're not some traveling sales event that rolls into town, takes your money, and then disappears. They're the place you go back to for the service, the repairs, the covers, the chemicals, advice, whatever it is. Seattle Hot Tub has options for different budgets as well. They're proud supporters of Make-A-Wish because they're part of the community, not just